邪魔してくるなら殴ってよし。劇場前まで突っ切っていくぞ。そうこなくっちゃな。
Okay, so that should have fixed that. Give me 1 second here.
Oh, he heard you now.
Yep. No, it was an easy fix. It's just, again, whatever the fucking update did to all my audio settings, reset these.
Hey.
All right, so sorry. Let me repeat that real quick.
Nope.
So while the plan for the game this week was to be Lost Judgment, the second in the Judgment series, we are currently at the end of Judgment right now because it got away from me for a little bit. Like many other of the Yakuza style games, there's a lot to fucking do, and it's very easy to get distracted. So, if you are, I think I am past all the big reveals and stuff, and now it is just, combat to the end and denouement. After which there will be a part where we get to watch a fucking install screen for Lost Judgment. Which hopefully
like we're playing Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah.
Classy. But yes, we're here. Hi, how you doing?
So, yeah, if you haven't played Judgment yet and you want to keep your playthrough the purest, please skip ahead maybe a half hour or so, and we should be clear by then.
Have us open in a different tab and listen along.
Yeah.
And of course, as always, like I was saying with the technical difficulties, the audio version, the MP3 version, is recorded on my end. So, assuming I haven't broken anything, which has happened, but not right now. Look at you, Audacity. If you support us on Patreon, you can get the audio version. And I would like to say this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Adam Harp, Architect Ken Brooks, Carlos Dragon Ferris, Jeremy Vasquez, Just the Fate, John Sandoval, Legendary Boss Hunter, Lee. Prior, some guy named Bob, 723, and Barry the Crow. If you like what you want to do, more, consider supporting us on Patreon. Thank you for support. Oh. Alright, hold on. I need to go.
Legendary Boss Hunter, you said that, but I literally pulled up an article saying that, they said Lost Judgment will have no major characters from it.
But when I sit back down, it'll pick me up just fine. Okay. Fully. Audacity, are you? There we go. Okay. I was just not centered on the microphone. And we're, possibly a little laggy. Because, Jesus, did you finish? No, it's working. Zero hours complete. I may be reinstalling Game Dev Tycoon for reasons. Thanks, Steam.
Ow. Ow. This is a lot of it.
For Civ 6?
Alright, time for hacks.
Alright, we got like 5 minutes remaining. I'll pause my Steam Deck. If it's gonna be like 10 minutes, I would go for it, but we'll hold off until we're done with the show. I don't have any plans after this. I'm probably gonna go back to playing
I made things better.
What was I saying? Right, after this, I'm probably just gonna go back to playing Surviving Mars. Ooh, Mars!
Mm-hmm.
If people want to hear about that while Lucky's punching dudes and stuff is exploding, I have actually put some hours into Surviving Mars again with some of the DLC. Including the Green Mars one, the one where you get to turn Mars green. I can talk a little bit about my fun there. Regardless, I would heartily recommend Surviving Mars if you're into those style of simulation games. It's a Paradox published game. I'm pretty sure it's the same developers. The actual development team is the same ones as City Skylines.
Mm-hmm.
so it's in that vein. The other thing I will say is kind of like the same as with some of the City Skyline stuff. There is a lot of DLC, some of which is like, I would argue, almost downright essential. You'll remember from many, many streams ago when I first played my first couple playthroughs of the game without a lot of DLC. One of the things that really fucked me long term was old people.
Oh yeah, I remember you hearing about that.
Yeah, in Surviving Mars, normally old people are Satan because they refuse to work, they can't have kids, but they'll suck up all your housing slots you need for workers to, you know, do vital things like make more polymers and more rare metals and, you know, make food. And you cannot easily solve this without DLC. Now, you can do kind of a hack. You can build separate domes, and you can mark them to favor seniors, like in the age group, and then disfavor everybody else and basically kind of sort of force them to move out. But it's relatively cheap, but it is one of the DLC packs to get you a retirement home you can build, which only houses seniors and will move them out of the way. I'm wondering if perhaps that was like... I assume that wasn't like, oh, we'll get their money out of them this way. It was just like, oh shit, a lot of people are upset about this gameplay mechanic we thought of where old people, you know, are a problem, and there's not a clean solution to it. We'll fix it later. For my current playthrough, that is not an issue because I developed one of the random breakthrough technologies, your like super amazing special game-breaking OP technologies, where my seniors can still have kids and work, so fuck it. I don't remember what it's called, but those are all like purely randomized your breakthrough technologies, so it's not a guarantee. But I've been playing a decent amount. I've clocked in a few hours, having fun. Though as usual, there's always the juggling of yelling at people. There's some things that for the game just doesn't really do things on. Like you can automate certain rovers, but they're not really automated because there's just some tasks they won't fucking solve. Like, well, I guess I'll tell the whole story of the Blue Mars colony and their not so terrible fate, but their very aggravating fate. So there's a lot of variables in Surviving Mars. It's one of those kinds of games. You can set up a lot of stuff ahead of time. Obviously, you can pick like your colony mission, who's sending you, what your founder is like. This time I picked rocket scientists, so I could start with shuttles early. Shuttles are an amazing technology you can build sometime in the mid-game usually, which basically fly resources and colonists wherever you need them. This allows you to move people between domes and lots of other stuff. They do have another DLC that's still full price that I didn't get called Martian Express that lets you build Mars trains.
Oh, am I actually going to have to fight the cops?
Are you going to have to punch cops? There's a lot of cops.
Oh, yeah.
バカ言え全員所持品を改める両手を広げてみせろなんだとなんでだお前らからショーの博士を守るためだ早くしろショーの狙ってんのは黒岩だよあんたら騙されてんだってあいつを止めろ
But yeah, so you know, we had some fun breakthrough technologies. We got shuttles early. You can do a lot of stuff. One of the things that really makes the game different, you know, every time and not just the same linear path, which is good because otherwise you can just play creative mode if you're just going to build the same things over and over again. They have this system called Mysteries, which basically add a game-spanning plot to you. And unfortunately, for Blue Mars, our mystery sucks. I got something called the Metatron Mystery. Technically spoilers, I guess, if you care about spoilers for a simulation game where you colonize Mars. Basically, a giant alien, you know, dongle appears over our colony, and it's an asshole to us. It sets us timed missions to analyze scientific anomalies, which is cool for extra research, but is the source of my first annoyance. Sometimes their anomalies spawn important resources like metal and polymers in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the fucking anomalies on Mars. And for some reason, my cargo rovers, when they're automated, won't just pick these up. So I'm like looking at my item storage and I'm yelling at the game because I'm like, where are my metals not showing up at this building? Why aren't you using these polymers? Oh, it's because they're in the middle of the fucking Martian desert. Cool. This is a great mechanic. Give me free resources and then just leave them in the middle of nowhere, and none of my robots think to move these. None of my shuttles will drop and pick these up from where they've been abandoned in the middle of nowhere. So I had to do a little bit of policing with my cargo rovers and manually reallocate them to storage depots. But that was just the first stage. If you research these fast enough, the giant floating alien penis decides to give you a new challenge. It starts randomly spawning ion storms on top of your colonies. What these do is they disable all outside of dome devices, which is where all of your air, water, and power come from. Those are all external buildings. You can't build those inside your pressure domes. Also, usually where your drone hubs are, and lots of other things. So, and the game is like, you will overcome this challenge if you build redundancies into your system. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I kind of built some redundancies, but I had to reload one save where I tried to build a redundant system, and then I just couldn't in time, and too many people started suffocating because the one oxygen distributor got disabled, and I could not build the other one fast enough because of the aforementioned issue with metals and polymers I hadn't figured out. So, yeah, it's pretty annoying. And at the end, you get some free research, I guess. It really wasn't worth it. It just... I'm kind of sad that at no point did the option to, like, turn my anti-meteorite lasers into, like, offensive weaponry and just get this fucking asshole off my planet. But anyway, here we are. I defeated the mystery. I'm fine. Oops. But yeah, that, as usual, colors a lot of your technology builds. As for the actual Green Mars stuff, the terraforming, it's pretty interesting. It gives you basically 4 new stats to track when you start a terraforming game, when you enable the DLC. Which is atmosphere, temperature, water, and vegetation. I kind of feel like, and maybe it's because I did slightly randomized technologies, not the full chaos mode, but like reallocating some of the top ones and bottom ones a little. But I kind of feel like the order was a little goofed up, like, properly, because, like, atmosphere is, like, way, way, way later in the chain. The first things you could do were, for me anyway, were forestation plants, which convert a new resource seeds into plants, by which they mean lichens. I don't know what the fuck you need to set Mars to grow grass, but it's, I have put, like, 10, 15 hours into this save file, and I still can't grow grass on Mars, even though, like I said, that was literally the first terraforming technology I built. And I'm about to research how to grow trees and bushes, but we're still probably not going to be able to plant those. Then you have the greenhouse gas plants, which just pump CO2 and other methane and stuff into the atmosphere to warm it up.
Time for hacks. Oh, I can't use that hack, so... I don't know who in game development decided it'd be a great idea to let you just have an orbital laser, but here we are.
That is a theme in several of these sorts of games that have come out. I also like that, you know, you're having a fucking punch fight with, you know, cops and stuff, and then you're just like, hold on, let me whip out my magic cell phone. Gonna ruin that man's whole career. But yeah, so only later do you get the, what is it, carbocrete plant? And water is weird. Watering the surface of Mars, basically you need to build lakes, which normally you need pumps for. But again, I discovered a breakthrough technology which makes them just magically produce water to fill up. But if your temperature is not high enough, the water stays frozen, even though the graphics do not show the water frozen. And won't actually raise your water level. So, I'm about, like, 25% temperature fixed on Mars. We're at, like, 10% atmo, 10% water, and, like, 5% vegetation. Again, even though that was the first thing I discovered. But it does offer you some really unique late-game stuff. You can build open farms, which are tended by your drones to actually grow crops. And eventually you can build what they call the capital city. You can just build a city outside a dome when you reach like maximum terraforming, and like that's pretty cool. My only other serious complaint about it is that I feel like all the technology for the terraforming tech tree, all of the research points are like twice as much as the equivalent on the normal tech tree, even the breakthroughs. So it's really, really slow to research it while you're also working on all the vital research you need to not die on Mars. Like being able to build your own buildings and not summon prefabs from Earth, which is expensive. Like in the process of completing my mystery quest, I think I dumped about $500 million into ordering.
Shit! I gotta find the cat.
Rapidly. You got 3 minutes to find a cat. You can't go over the bars. That's not how that works. It's a security barrier.
Where's the cat? Like, there's a like they have the there it is. Oh look, a cat. And I got the trophy. Yes. Sorry. In Judgment, they have a lot of these things where you have to visually look over a thing and try to figure out clues, and in every single fucking one of them, there is a cat. And if you find all the fucking cats, there's a trophy for it. Because Yagami is the same thing every single fucking time. Oh, look, a cat!
Ah, Rebecca.
Alright, let me see here. But now I do need to actually... Police baton.
But yeah, so like I'm working on my surviving Mars grind. It's a fun game. It's just like I said, I had a really annoying crisis basically to deal with, and then
Got it.
the research levels are a little slow, and I didn't really I don't really play with like the cheaty modifiers. Like there's a couple of modifiers that don't disable achievements, i.e. are the cheaty ones. We know how this works. That like give you some extra like resources or flexibility. But then there are some that are straight up just like, hey, you don't have to worry about money ever, or double all the research you do. And I'm like, I don't know. I still didn't go for that, even though I don't really care
Jesus!
about it. If I was gonna experiment with some of the Mars stuff later, I might actually try some of that stuff just to streamline the tech. Shit, it's a gun!
Guns are service.
You are right about this being a like very crime drama-y, because that guy just drew a gun, and instead of, you know, I don't know, shooting the two defenseless assholes, he decided to blow up some oxygen tanks and just blow up the bridge for extra drama.
Like Judgment, I'm gonna tell once we're in rolling credits, I'm definitely gonna like take over and talk about Judgment, my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm just trying to I'm trying to fill in space while you're concentrating on beating this game. We'll have some downtime in between this and the next install, I think.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, your brain. But from what I'm seeing, I'm definitely like, I see what you mean by wanting to try this. I'll have to see some time in, because there's a lot of games I do want to play. More stuff coming out later. And I do want to take some time later. When Lucky has some free brain cells as well, to talk about THQ Nordic actually did like a little trailer release, and there were a couple of interesting things there.
I know I did hear about that, and I watched a little bit, but I'm not gonna lie, I didn't catch a lot of it because it was a little
Yeah, I just got an article, like I didn't go back and watch the presentation. Half of them got dumped on like other channels.
Oh yeah.
And I clicked a few of them, and then I've got a list of what was there, because there are some interesting ones in there. There's a new Alone in the Dark game.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, that was announced at that, I believe. So there's some interesting stuff there to talk about, but we can get back to that later. But yeah, okay. Yeah, I got a few things. But yes, I will continue to colonize the Mars and tell you guys about it, maybe. I have fun.
Oh, you just threw a you asshole.
I also, it wasn't a mystery, but I did develop an interesting random event. So, one of the mechanics in the game is renegades. I don't fucking know why, but you can develop Mars crime.
Why would you ever do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you would, like, you get shipped to fucking Mars to go be a colonist. Often you were handpicked by the colony director for your specific job, and what do? You're gonna be an asshole and steal, like, okay, you steal food, right? You steal food from storage. That's the primary thing they do. They make you lose a couple of resources. That makes sense. You're hungry, you want to eat a little extra, cool.
Oh, shit.
You stole machine parts from storage? Or, I don't know, fuck you. You stole rare metals? You know that you can't, there's no economy on Mars like that, right? Like, the only thing you can do is, we're, oh gosh, I don't even know how many. I think we're like 100 souls into our mission. Let me check how that is. Like, I think that might be, yeah, okay. That's, a soul is roughly 25 hours, so, a universal time day. So we're hundreds of days into our Mars colonization. Though also, by the way, that doesn't make any goddamn sense because I've had founders on, like, day 0 die of old age now, so it's not necessarily a one-to-one, I don't think. But, like, I literally just built, I think, the first stores where you can, like, buy shit for fun. Like, there were grocery stores and like, restaurants and stuff you could go to, but there's no, like, economy for citizens. The main thing you do with rare metals is either build electronics or reload them on rockets and sell them back to Earth, because Earth wants that Mars gold, y'all. But, so, yeah, they're annoying. You build security posts to refresh them and whatever. You can do certain things to, like, discourage it from people. But, the funny thing was, so I had a little mini event happen. I got a report that a colonist had committed suicide, and I was like, whoa, that's weird. And then it was like, random event, vigilante justice. Yeah, so apparently some of those renegades were, like, bullying not children, but youths, people in younger age brackets, and caused one of them to commit suicide. And in response, one of my colonists decided to become a vigilante and, like, push them out of the airlock or down some stairs.
Holy shit!
And it's like, and the decision is, do you want to send it back to Earth, or do you want to leave it be? And I'm like, you know what? Fuck you, renegades. And so I would just get little notifications. The vigilante has struck again. And like 2 or 3 colonists would just die. And I'm like, well, they were renegades, so fuck them. I did realize that I let that, while I was in the middle of my Ion Storm crisis, I let that one run a little too long, so I had to repopulate with some rockets full of people. But still, it's like, no, this is a perfect solution to my crime problem. Yeah, I invented Martian Batman. Stop stealing machine parts and polymers. You can't use them.
Oh shit, am I suffering from a concussion?
Probably. You fucking fell out of an exploding sky bridge and bonked your head. That's normal, by the way. Head injuries bleed a lot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we invented Martian Batman, so...
That sounds pretty
That
hilarious.
was pretty rad. Yeah, no, and you can get all kinds of these things. There's one of the random events is a fucking Mad Max Fury Road reference. Like, one of your colonists goes delusional and thinks he's a war boy, and he's like, Immortal Jack, tell me what to destroy. And you can point him at random bits of infrastructure. Like, there's all kinds of weird stuff like that in addition to the mystery. So it's a fun time. And like I said, if you like these kinds of simulation-y, like, city build games, but with a, like, sci-fi, space colonization twist, check it out. It's pretty fun. Building some domes. Going on Mars. Letting my vigilante push people out of space stairwells. Whatever. Don't care. I can get more of them. I didn't pick the modifier where you only get 1 block of colonists from Earth, because Earth is dying or something. But yeah, so, surviving Mars, fun.
Oof. But let's see here. I'm gonna push that button. Yeah, we can start talking about the THQ thing. Like,
Sure, let me pull up that list then. Good old THQ Nordic super publisher. let's see. Yep, there was Alone in the Dark. There was an announcement of a new RTS game called Tempest Rising. That'll get some people happy. The aesthetics kind of remind me of like a Command and Conquer.
Mm-hmm.
Like the character they've got in this is even like some weird sci-fi guy with a breath mask wearing a beret, a red beret.
Mm-hmm.
It says it'll have RPG elements. Here's an interesting game title that I think both of us might be interested in. Something called Space for Sale.
Space for Sale.
Yes, it is a property development in space game. You go to alien planets, and you build houses to flip. So it's, you know, in those veins.
If I remember, I think I saw one. Doesn't that one have that kind of like creepy, cute kind of art style though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the characters look a little like not quite Animal Crossing like chibi-fied, but like a little small and deformed, and then also there's like weird gribbly stuff.
Yeah. I think I saw a little bit about that one, but like I don't know, I've never been a fan of creepy cute kind of things.
That's fair.
But I still might give it a better look when we get more information.
We'll have to
on
see
it.
what the result is.
Yeah.
It's just like an early trailer. For me personally, they've got Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed. Once
Yep.
again, showing that like they are not skimping on that whole like remake aspect. The graphics are once again really impressive and built from the ground up, but the game is still fundamentally the same. I gotta check what day of the week that comes out on. I might take a stream jaunt just to show people like I did with the first one, but it's even as a big Destroy All Humans guy, I kind of feel like every time they come out with a trailer, I'm just like, yeah, like it's an HD like full remake of the game, but all the dialogue and the story is the same and the mechanics. It's just you like really next gen up the graphics. It's good, but there's not much to show. I don't remember the game this was based on, but they're remaking a game called Gothic.
Yeah.
It says on, by the way, we were reading from the list of IGN.com, everything announced at THQ Nordic. Says it was a 2000s action RPG.
Okay, maybe we were actually seeing ghosts.
Gotta be careful not to bonk your head.
I am bleeding.
Yeah, you should probably stop and get a bandage. Action role-playing for Windows by a German company. Makes sense.
Oh, here we go again. I'm trying to remember what kind of style of game Gothic was.
It said medieval action RPG, so... you can get skill points, you gotta do that. Fighting, setting... Seems pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
Fight works. There's a lot of medieval stuff on this list, by the way. Knights of Honor 2, which I think is some kind of strategy game. The Valiant is another grand strategy game set during the Crusades. We're just releasing a lot of strategy games. If you like those, I guess you're eating well.
If I remember, THQ Nordic, it's not really big title. It's not necessarily a big title publisher.
Yeah, it's kind of like Devolver and Annapurna, I think. They're just a huge conglomerate of like publishing, and you can get a lot of stuff published under their window, especially if you're in Europe. So there's some trends and things. There was one trailer that I actually thought was like really interestingly done, because I was just kind of bamboozled. There's a hunting simulation game, which is also a first-person shooter called Way of the Hunter, and I watched the trailer and I was just like, okay, this is like, I mean, as a product, like the trailer they showed was very, very high level, like super fancy graphics and all that stuff, you know, big, wide open nature, But like it starts with these sweeping nature shots, and then it goes to all these shots of animals, and then in like the last 30 seconds, it's like also guns, you know.
Yeah.
Hunting birds with a shotgun, rifling in on a moose. Which, by the way, for a trailer like this, moose is a good pick. You know, because moose are fuckers. A moose is I think, you know, at least in America anyway, mooses are like so large that they have reached the point where they just don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah. No, actually, a fun story. If I remember, like, I actually did. Oh shit, no. If I remember correctly, because I did tune in to the actual stream around this time, and they were talking about how it actually is set in the Pacific Northwest. And yes, we do have moose here. We actually we have a giant nature preserve here called Northwest Trek. And they have moose there, and I've seen that fucker just, you know, angrily headbutt fences that, you know, that I was like, you know, 6 feet away from. And I'm just like, I'm slightly terrified like right now.
Yeah, so like it's definitely one of those things where I'm like, okay, this is like really lovingly crafted and high detail, and like obviously it's not a like classic FPS experience because like they're showing, you know, using hunting weapons, you know, double-barreled break-open shotgun and, you know, a bolt-action hunting rifle. It's supposed to be, I think, like open-worldy type, like, you know, wander around. And I'm like, I mean, it looks beautiful. I double-checked the price. I think it's still like $40 on like Steam and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know if I want to pay like $40 for this, but like, I don't know. Exploring nature and occasionally, you know, shooting a goose or a moose. Listen, we get really up on, like, think of the animals or whatever. Have you ever thought about how many of the animals are pain in the ass?
I do remember this during the chat. Everyone was all like, call PETA!
Yeah, well, if you call PETA, something bad would probably happen. Because those guys are just gremlins. But, like, even, like, oh no, the poor defenseless deer. I mean, obviously, I've talked about this before. It's still our own fault. Because, like, we don't like, whatchamacallit, like bears and wolves near us. But as a result, if you don't control the deer population, they're kind of annoying. Like, wild deer are almost like a vermin animal because they'll fuck up your crops and your fences and your whatever. They don't really care either.
Yeah. Like to put, like, it is true. If, like, deer population are allowed to grow too big, like, A, they'll start fucking with your shit, and B, that usually means a surge in predator population as well.
Yeah, because somebody will show up to eat them. There are still some animals, like coyotes. Those guys don't give a fuck.
Yeah, coyotes, big cats. What other predators do we have up here? Technically, a bear is a predator, but they're omnivore.
I don't think a bear is gonna chase a deer.
No. If they come across a deer carcass, they'll be like, oh hey.
Wild hogs are also like, guy. You might think because of our you know, our tropes about domesticated pigs or whatever. Sequence transition. They're like, oh, pigs are fat and stupid. No. Wild boars, wild pigs are like terrifying.
Oh, actually, no.
There's a reason why in like, you know, fantasy and folklore, so many like boars kill heroes because they are.
We were actually talking about this earlier for Gensekai earlier.
Yeah, I'm sending you guys on a dire boar hunt.
And we're just all like, I'm just like,
Yeah, and I've pre-warned you that I did not necessarily softball the stats on this. You guys cannot expect to just bum rush it and win.
But, no, we actually, like, you might guys not realize it, but we actually, like, I believe it's in the Midwest areas and maybe, like, in the Appalachian, we actually do have a fucking wild hog problem. Too many fucking pigs have escaped, you know, like, captivity and stuff from, like, old farmlands. And have fucking bred themselves into these giant roving bands.
Yeah,
like,
and pigs are omnivores also, much like bears.
Bears.
So it's a whole thing. So, like, I don't think that there's, like, ooh, this game is morally wrong. It's about hunting.
Yeah.
Like, I think there are some animals that in the wild, yeah, you probably shouldn't shoot. You probably don't need to fuck with the bear. You know? And I don't think we do. You are not allowed to shoot bears unless, like, it is a proven man-killing bear.
Honestly, most small arms fire and maybe rifle rounds are just going to piss a bear off.
That's also true. I mean, that's why... Obviously, not to take too fine a point. I know some people don't care about, like, firearm nerdery, but, like, there is actually a lot that goes into the design of a firearm and of the cartridge, and, like, there's a reason why there are all these, like, you know, Wildcat and Magnum rounds that are designed for hunting, because, okay, sure, you know, some of them are like, ooh, we're going to go hunt elephants. Don't do that. There's not enough elephants left. You know, elephants and rhinos, it's not worth your boner, you know. But, like, bears, big.
Yeah.
Moose, also big. Hard to fuck with. Got a lot of fat and muscle. And so if you do need to stop them, that's why a lot of, like, really weird high-caliber hunting rounds exist. Because they want you to maintain performance from a long, long way away. Are you going to go through that window?
Yeah.
Okay. So if this was a TV show, our wire work budget is phenomenal.
Funnily enough, they do spin it as a fucking TV show, kind of. They even have
it's definitely got, from what I've seen of, like, clips of, like, Japanese dramas and stuff, some of which you can watch on Netflix these days, that definitely seems like what kind of the stuff with the camera angles is. It's just also, it's a fucking, like, martial arts wire fu movie. Which is cool. I'm just saying, it's an interesting mashup. It's that funny how video games can do these kinds of combos, right? Like, you can... I mean, hell, actually, you talk about our favorite boy, Hideo Kojima. How, like, the man clearly loves action movies, right? And puts a lot of that choreo into it, the way his scenes are designed, but the actual gameplay is usually, like, very methodical and stealth-based. It's the kind of thing that you don't get in action movies. And actively in Metal Gear games, you are punished for, you know, fighting like Rambo usually. Alright. But yeah, so like I said, the trailer was just, like, really interesting presented, like, look at the glory of nature and then shoot it, I guess?
It is a little weird, but I can kind of understand it. Like, you can't... How do I want to put this? You don't necessarily just want to make Hunting Simulator 2022.
Right.
You want to, you know, make something that people can get engaged in and, you know, get some immersion in and whatnot.
Well, yeah, and they're calling it, like, Way of the Hunter. They're kind of playing it up a little.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really necessarily, like, at least the trailer wasn't anyway, like, glorifying it per se, but it's definitely like, hey, we're trying to create this, like, simulation experience. We're going to, like, communicate to you the majesty of the great outdoors and, like, the skill and stuff of doing this work. So you don't have to actually do it in real life, kind of a thing. Seems
No. Like, I'm curious, like, I didn't actually see a lot of it, because, like I said, I'm not that really into it, but, like, if they actually have some sort of interesting, like, progression and sort of way to, like, do things, you know, that could be...
Yeah, they did show a little hunting lodge, so I don't know if there's, like, some... I mean, a very obvious thing to do would be to collect trophies, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit!
But still, like, there's definitely some interesting vibes. I will... I think it comes out in a few days. I may follow up on this and see. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to pay the full, like, $40 for such a game, but it's definitely one of those weird things that, like, I'd pay $20 for that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is this man just gonna fucking... Oh, shit, we're going to phase 2?
I just like the fucking, like, double lightning strike. I lived, bitch. Nah, this game looks great. I will have to check this out when I've got some time.
What the fuck did you just inject yourself with?
Nanomachines, so...
We are going
It really does look like the fucking nano... Actually, I think it's an adrenaline injector.
It is, but still.
But
it's fucking nanomachines.
It's like the fucking nanomachine syringe from Metal Gear Solid 4. To bring that back.
Stop injecting yourself!
We're repping Metal Gear Solid 4 pretty good today. Oh, interesting. So Aaron said in chat that that way of the hunter is largely about gear progression, getting the right weapons to hunt later. That makes sense.
That makes sense. I mean, gear progression is still progression. You know, you want to wear, you know, the right camouflage. You want to wear the right, get the right gun, right caliber, and all that kinds of stuff. So no, that makes sense.
Scope magnification, so you can, you know, work from greater distances. This is interesting. All right, we'll follow up. Let me see. I don't think there was really anything else in the list that I was that interested in. New trailer for Jagged Alliance 3, if you're into that game series.
Oh, fuck, I forgot! I forgot when I have these special, you know, these cheat items of my... I don't have my grab, I have a fucking dance that gives me something. I was like, shit! Let's go with these.
They didn't show any bows in the trailer.
I wonder if they have crossbow hunting.
They might. For FPS style, that might work better with the engine.
Well,
Usually not with crossbow, usually ground foul, I think.
I don't know about in every state, but here in Washington State, you cannot hunt with a crossbow unless you have disabilities. What exact disabilities, I'm not sure, but that's the law. Don't ask why Lucky was checking the legal reasons if one can own a crossbow or not. Just saying.
That's a weird one. I'm not sure I follow that one.
I don't know. Listen, some laws are weird, alright?
Yeah. Well, and obviously, like, the concept of hunting regulation, I think it's important. You know, there's a good reason why it is important to discuss, and why sometimes you might have some weird feelings about games like this, because, like if in this game you can shoot, like, American bison, I might be like, I don't know how I feel about that, because, you know, we nearly extincted those guys. And in fact, I think most American buffalo and stuff are, like, actually, like, hybrids with beef cattle.
Yeah. Like, no, during the Great West, God, I remember hearing those studies, hearing those stories about train hunting, where trains would literally, you know, just go by the Great Plains, and people could just shoot the buffalo from the train and be like, yeah, it's a good sport, and they just leave the fucking carcasses to, like, die and rot on the fucking... the plains.
Or the exterminating bison to make way for, like, cow pastures, there's just giant piles of skulls.
Yeah.
There are some birds that just weren't adapted for humans either, like out west that also are, like, extinct. Was it the passenger pigeon and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, like, it's not a perfect, you know, story, but, you know, there's a few things we can get in there.
Yo. さっきやっと誤解が解けてよ。一旦俺らのことは後回しにしてくれるってよ。後で弁護頼むぞ。
I'll say, for another game that's, like, investigatory, it looks like you got a nice little crew here.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things of you know, you gotta gather up the gather up your friends.
By the way, yes, this is accurate to Japan. Their police officers are still carrying revolvers.
Kaido with the chair!
He looked a lot closer at that first camera angle.
I know. Oh, shit!
Time for the big dramatic finish.
お前の実験ごっこも終わりだな。いえ、もう必要ないと思います。
Sorry, I was just looking at some surviving Mars stuff. There's a lot of weird mysteries. I think the game is even set to until you've done all of the default ones, not to repeat any.
アドデック9です。
Are you gonna kill him with fucking...
まだ死なないでください。
Or did he fix it?
何するんだ。
完成したんですよ。僕のやれるすべてを注ぎ込んだんです。今度こそ間違いない。だから最後にこの新薬が完成したという証明を。
You know, funnily enough.
そうやって何
2 minutes
人
phone.
殺
That's
して
good.
きた。
Mm-hmm.
でもおかげで何百万何千万の人が救われるんです。
だから罪もない女の子まで殺した。ん
You know, whatever Black Trenchcoat Man is,
その罪を着せられた大久保君は
he's in a hospital,
今も
so
死刑しているんだよ。
Well, technically he's not in a they're not in a hospital, they're in a what's the word I want to use?
oh, is it like a research hospital?
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Makes sense. But like, funny story. If it's not immediately lethal, gunshots are actually fairly survivable if you can get medical attention right away. Well, that's a smash cut.
Yeah.
生野君は私にそう言いました。
But yeah, so the THQ Nordic thing was interesting. There was a couple of interesting trailers as a result. Some stuff to follow up on. I'm still, as I said before, very jazzed for the new remake of Destroy All Humans 2. Had a lot of fun with the Destroy All Humans remake. Pretty cool. I've got a stream about that one somewhere. And obviously, Saints Row is also gonna be good for me.
For me, yeah, no.
It's gonna be cool. I know some people will object. Though, hey, that reminds me of another thing. So, I've seen some tweets on the internet of people having opinions. Specifically, people dunking on the Forspoken trailers for the dialogue.
Oh, I saw that. Again, that was another one of those things of like, why is this so important to y'all?
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, okay, all right. So I've seen some people talk about. I'll admit, I've never really resonated with the people who are like objecting to quote unquote Marvel quip humor kind of a thing. I mean, I've always been a big fan of Spider-Man, so I don't really. I'm inured to the quip style. I have seen some more critical analysis of it where I do agree sometimes when the Marvel-style movies do a joke, they add like a third punchline that takes it too far. But as a person, to me, that still doesn't degrade the original joke. If it's like, da-da, response, commentary and response, I'm like, okay, you took it too far. But the first line is still funny to me.
Yeah.
So, like, that's just, some of that's personal preference, but I've never really gotten that complaint. But also, like, some people are out there being like, oh my god, it's cringe. Internet. I mean, our audience is listening is like, internet, you are cringe. I watch a lot of online content creators and follow a lot of people on Twitter. Mostly artists, but also content creators and other bullshit. You're cringe. I point at you. You're cringe. Like, these are the people who respond with shit like, you know, mauled, seethe, cope, you know, don't care, didn't ask, L plus ratio plus you're white. Like, fucking the internet is like, the people making these kind of comments on Twitter are the kind of people who, if you're streaming and you say Among, will be like, Among Us sus! Even today, you know? Like, that. This is just how a certain slice of internet culture is. So I don't really like if you're on Twitter making comments about Forspoken, you're already part of the problem. You were part of that language slice. And I know that sometimes, like, everybody knows, ooh, fake gamer dialogue, right? Like, when game trailers, especially like Ubisoft does that, it's kind of like, yeah, we don't really talk like that. Me and Lucky have spent a decent amount of hours playing through all the stories in, like, Aliens Fireteam. We don't really be like, advance and kill that guy. Ooh, pick up this loot. It's like, ah!
True.
Where the fuck did you come from?
It's like, oh
Or,
man,
like,
I
it's
can't
just like-
see, and you're just
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
holy fire!
Like, sorry, my bad. Turn off the fire. Like, it's shit like that, you know.
Oh shit.
You know, like that's one thing. But like, Forspoken is basically an isekai title. Our protagonist is just a normal girl wearing her flannels and blue jeans who gets sucked into a world with a talking bracelet. And I'm gonna be honest, if you think that her dialogue being like, "Whoa, what the fuck is happening? This is definitely weird," but also kind of kick-ass. If you don't think that's exactly how you would respond, you have no soul. You're dead to me. Or alternatively, you're lying to yourself. Like, if
Oh,
I
that
got slurped
explains
into a
it.
magic world with a magic bracelet and could shoot, like, fire from my hands, I would be like, bro, what the fuck? What the fuck is happening here? But also, it is cool.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I don't
like I think my response would probably be like, I'd be doing a lot of oh, he cut his hair. You know, maybe a lot more swearing,
Yeah.
and maybe I don't know. Like that's the thing I'm thinking about things. I think it's one of those arguments of the talking protagonist versus the silence protagonist kind of thing. Because the Forspoken does something I think is pretty neat. Is they give you, I don't know exactly the role of the bracelet, but it gives someone to talk to.
Yes.
And here's the thing: a lot of people's personality is not necessarily in how they act and how they move, but how they speak. You can see someone's body language and kind of get a feel for them, but it's when they actually start talking that you let their character develop. So having a person be able to talk in game is important. But unfortunately, I think there's a problem now where a lot of people don't necessarily like their characters talking. Like again, this is one of those weird divisive things about gaming communities. Is people like, I'm noticing a lot. Like you see this a lot, like in like certain games, like Elden Ring. People are like, I don't need my character to talk. I just need him to roll around and kill shit, and everything looks beautiful. This is fine. This is perfect. But
Well, and I think so. It's funny. We're probably gonna come back to some of this when we talk about some Gensekai stuff later, because I'm sure we will. We'll talk about food or giants or whatever. But like to do some of my writing, I have been, you know, taking inspiration from some stuff. I've been watching back some like Zelda, especially like Breath of the Wild lore videos, and even reading up on some areas of like old Dark Souls games. Funnily enough, because in order to understand what the fuck is going on, you have to go look it up on the internet. But that's because I think, honestly, both of those games really do, you know, atmospheric storytelling very well. Like, Breath of the Wild is fucking phenomenal. I have to stop myself from picking it up and playing it again, because it's just so good. With just everything is like ambient, atmospheric. It's all self-exploration. As usual, Link doesn't say a fucking word, even in the flashbacks before he got brain damage. Like, he just kind of emotes and does actions and lets other characters with voices react to him, like the other champions or Zelda, right?
right.
And that's part of like showing Link's character, but leaving him open-ended enough that you feel like you can experience this world all at once and really see and feel all these really interesting things, because there's a lot of them. Some of them you know about, like the giant hole blown in that one mountain that is just like everybody sees for their first
Oh,
time.
shit!
And like, oh my god, what the fuck is this? And then you see the final shot with the divine beast, and you're like, oh, holy shit, giant robot lasers. Or other things like, I completely missed this in my playthrough, but I saw it in a lore video. One of the Zora tablets talks about their current king, King Dorephan, fighting a guardian. A guardian invaded the Zora's domain and it beat up all his guys. So he went out there unarmed and wrestled a guardian. He threw it off a cliff. And you might think, oh, is this just a legend? No, there's a fucking hole in the ground in the Zora's domain with a single dead guardian at the bottom of it. And it's like literally the closest dead guardian to the Zora territory. And so this motherfucker wrestled a guardian. That's baller. And that's purely atmospheric. Like, that's just in tablets in the Zora's domain, and then if you go look for it, there's a little, like, environmental cue. I suspect Elden Ring, being another made by From, will be in that vein of that kind of storytelling, right?
Right.
Where everything is for the player to slowly explore in their own terms and to, like, talk about with other people and to gather through that. I do not think Forspoken is like that.
No.
And quite frankly, a lot of Final Fantasy games, Square's other big RPG series, are not like that. Those are, what's the word I want to say? I guess more like, that's a lot of directed storytelling and directed world
I think the
building.
way I want to think about it is Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild is about the journey, while like Final Fantasy Forspoken is just as much about the character.
Yes. Like, it's like comparing, like, say, we'll talk about another, award-winning RPG game that Square put out, recently. Final Fantasy VII Remake, right?
Right.
Now, some of that is spectacle, and there is some atmospheric storytelling. There's some stuff where you go through some zones and you realize some, like, what the fuck? Like the lab under Sector 7 slums, for instance, stuff like that. But a lot of it is cutscenes, character dialogue, character exposition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's, really good and really builds these characters and shows you a lot of action and stuff. I assume Forspoken will be in that vein. A lot of your building character for your protagonist and world building will be literally this chick looks like she moves to like Seattle or something and gets isekai'd, she gets sucked through the isekai hole, and gets a magic bracelet, and now she has to fight dragons and shit. And, like, your storytelling is going to be about her coming to grips with that and interacting with this world for better or worse. And, like, I'm going to presume, I haven't really seen it in some of the story trailers, I'm going to presume there's going to be a certain element of, like, okay, well, I'd like to go back home. Like, at least I left my cat, right? We got to go back for the cat, at least. And we'll see how the rest of the stuff is, because I'm going to be real. If I was a 20-something moving, like, to the urban sprawl, I don't know, I'd probably just want to get my cat and stay in the fantasy world and punch dragons. Like, Forspoken looks beautiful. If you have seen, like, the animations and the models they are doing, they are not skimping on that next-gen technology.
Oh, yeah.
There's some rad shit you can do. And so long as the combos and, like, the lines are good together, it's going to be a great game. And I will say, I do wonder, like, will they ever do any commentary on some of this stuff? Like, for instance, like, does our main character have, like, I don't know, like a dancing or skating background? Because, like, some of your elemental attacks, you do kind of, like, skate across the ground or whatever, right? It's interesting, and it's just one of those things where I'm just like, I don't really get the harsh and the buzz.
I love this.
You just boys hanging out having fun. Got your dingy little office.
No, I love it. Like, we did this big whole case, and how we're ending this, we're gonna go find a missing cat.
Oh, a cat. Pretty good. Also, it is a good idea we decided to start, because you have been doing this for an hour.
Yeah, no, but we're rolling through the fucking credits now.
Hey.
All right.
Well, yeah. If you don't have anything further to say about yelling about people yelling about Forspoken.
Well, I'm gonna be real. I always have something to yell about with people yelling about stuff on the internet. If we're gonna be real, like almost.
We got some of that out on Let's Talk yesterday.
Yeah. But no, again, like, I think my thing is, I feel like it's very hypocritical about some things, especially stuff like this, because I do believe that people should have their opinion and not be afraid to express their opinion. But I don't like the fact that people feel like they can express their opinion without feeling any sort of I guess I'll talk about it here in a minute, but no. So it's like, I want people to be able to freely express their opinions. I just don't want people to go so toxic with their opinions and think that, you know, everything is so okay. Like speaking of like the Ryota thing now, like I can understand that people like don't like Ryota's art style, and that's okay. You don't have to fucking like it. But when people are basically screaming to the heavens that it sucks, no one should like it, and the artist, you know, fall down a flight of stairs, that's when I'm gonna take fucking issue. I'm like, why are you going to this amount of extremes for your opinion when it is just you? And, you know, shout out to communities, because I will say that kind of toxic opinion is in the minority. But the unfortunate thing of social media today is, even if it's in a minority, if enough people then react to said opinion, then it becomes a big fucking deal. And I'm just like, we don't, like...
It turns into drama.
It turns into drama. And now the cat's inside my office.
We have an office cat. But yeah, it's like... It's a perfectly okay to just be like, I don't like the style, right? Like, it is stylized. People are allowed to, like, not like that. I mean, I personally think if you're, like, some kind of purist, you're like, no, everything must be anatomically reasonable and correct. I'm like, okay, that's weird. But sure, whatever. But like I said, when it's like, oh my god, I wish you would just stop doing, and I'm like, all right, fuck you, buddy. When you're like, stop, you're just jelly. That's it. Like, ultimately, when that happens, I don't know if it's true, but like my first response, my like immediate psychological gut take is just like, okay, you're just butthurt. You're jelly. You're jealous that you don't make like $1 bajillion drawing fucking this art or whatever. Like, and there's certainly some people who it feels like they're trying to like, I don't know, clout chase or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, they're trying to like elevate themselves by being contrary or whatever, and it's just like, I mean, it's okay to be unnerved, just so long as you don't, like, I want Raita to die because he draws hands weird or whatever, or, like, try and enforce on other people, like, no, it's weird, okay?
Yeah, no, like, because I don't think, like, I could be wrong, I do say some things heatedly, but I don't think I've ever told you to not stop, like, to not stop disliking it. I've usually told people to just stop talking about it.
You don't ever tell people, no, you're wrong, stop. You're just like, shush, I don't want to hear it.
No, because that's the thing. Opinions don't have to be shared. They don't. They literally don't. Like, you can never say your opinion ever, and guess what? Nothing will fucking change. You can. Like, God, I have... Like, guys, how many opinions of mine do you all know about, like, politics and all that stuff? Really, think about it. How much do you know? Very little. Do you know why? Because I never fucking talk about it.
Yeah, we avoid some of those things to... One, just because I think that's kind of part of our oeuvre of the community. Obviously, we have strong opinions about stuff. You know, let's talk ever. You know, occasionally when we have... Like,
I'm sorry. I'm just watching this story about the fucking cat.
But at the same time, like, we don't necessarily want to box people out for their opinions or beliefs or whatever.
Yes, Ark, you are correct. Everyone does know my opinion on tall Oni girls. This is correct.
Yeah, very true. But like I said, we don't necessarily want to box people out of our community for their opinions, per se. I mean, like I said, there's some stuff about, like, factual correctness, like, you know, there's some things that, like, I don't even know if it's, like, an opinion, but like I said, like, interpretation of facts that I think are incorrect and harmful, and I would definitely be like, if I caught you expressing such a opinion or fact in our Discord server, it would probably be, like, a little discussion about, okay, I don't ever, like, talk about that.
Like, and there are plenty of people who express their opinions in just everyday conversation that I don't agree with, and I don't go kicking down, so like, no, you all can't talk about that. I just move on to another conversation. Or if I like super like disagree with their take or how they present it, I block the person. And it's like, oh, I'm not gonna deal with this. I'm gonna avoid this.
Our moderation style is usually only when people have opinions at loggerheads and they won't move on from it.
Oh God!
Will, like,
that's
when we as mods will intervene and be like, okay, guys, break it up. You're clearly not going anywhere.
Yeah, I actually had to do that this week, if I remember. Or it was recently. It was an anime manga. I can't remember what it was.
somebody was arguing about My Hero. I think it was
Oh, yeah.
related to spoiler stuff in the manga recently.
Yeah.
Like, people were. That's also another whole thing when you're arguing about spoilers outside of spoiler chat. Without like directly addressing them, obviously. But yeah, and we've occasionally had to do that. Like we've had to do that sometimes in other places. We'll have to step in and be like, "Okay, guys, break it up."
Let's see here.
There you go. End card.
Oh man, I only completed 57% of this game. I'm slacking. Well, I just said what. Let's close. Premium new game.
Well, you were trying to actually finish the game and not get a sidetracked too much. Sidebracked. Jeez.
Yeah, but Megan, let me show you. Like before, I actually like, I want to show you the opening to this, which is really what really sold me on this was being a fucking crime drama TV show. It's like
Sure, and then we can probably take a second to talk about it.
Yeah. Because it actually does have an opening movie. I kind of want you to actually hear the opening music to it, but because it really sells it. But
I mean, I can always look it up later on.
yeah, okay. Well, I'll show it to everyone else out here. You might have just heard the song during the credits, but we actually have like a fucking like Netflix TV show like fucking opening, and I'm like, when I saw it, I was just like, oh man, I'm in for something.
Yeah. Speaking of which, by the way, heard the good news. Love, Death, and Robots is renewed for a 4th season.
Of course it is. I'm excited.
Thumbs up, everybody.
Let's see. Got even Matt Mercer in here.
Like, Cherry Lee was just on screen. Love her work. That's Female V, and also was Makoto in Persona 5 and Rhea in Fire Emblem. So, like, I like her work, but...
All right, but that's that. So I'm going to exit this game here.
I completely missed her in Longmire. Cherry Lee was in an episode of Longmire, a show I watched on Netflix. There is also, by the way, a oh gosh, why is the fucking name of the thing eluding me? The Neil Gaiman comic, Sandman. There's a new Sandman adaptation that's on Netflix. I haven't watched it, but people are apparently going crazy about it.
Crazy. So let me slide this on in. I will open up my Lost Judgmental. I'm gonna slide that right in.
Cherry Lee was a character in Halo Infinite. Interesting.
All right, Lost Judgment. Queued for copy.
Well, as we fire up the download.
So that was.
There's still 10 people in here, like X. They just don't have anything to say. But that was Judgment.
might have to get the season pass.
Somebody saw a good episode. Looks like there's a few DLCs, yeah.
I might pick him up. Let's see what's in it real quick, though. Detective Essentials.
By the way, to speak of a previous game that we've played on this stuff and whatnot, I did actually play a little bit of Maneater.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's all right. I see what you mean about the no lock-on. That, like, to me is, like, the one fundamental feature it's missing. Like, you can recenter the camera, but it's definitely, like, when you're getting mobbed by lots of little predators, it's like, well, this is interesting how these guys are just running away from me all the time. I haven't really put a lot into it, but, you know, just enough to get a couple of evolutions and start fucking around. I'll play it when I have time. He's firing off on that season pass, though, seems like.
Well, oops, let's see. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Okay, we got about 16 minutes before it says it'll be done. So...
Might pick up a little bit there.
Might pick up a little bit. But... So... Judgment is a game by, let's say, Ryuga Gotoku, which basically just does the Yakuza series.
Yeah.
It's their big tentpole. They've done 8 Yakuza games. I have not played Like a Dragon yet, but I just know it plays completely different than normal Yakuza games, so I'm a little like, on it. But it's in then, and they've done 2 Judgment games, so that's 9 games.
Specifically, Ryuga Gotoku is a division of Sega, like in-house built in.
Yeah.
They're part of Sega's Research and Development #1 division. So like, they're a sub studio, but they're a specific like Sega studio.
Yeah.
And their entire history is basically they did a game called Binary Domain and a titular Ryuga Gotoku. Actually, that's Like a Dragon, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that would be the HD of Yakuza 1 and 2 on Wii U and PS3. That must have only come out in Japan.
Yeah, probably.
But basically, they didn't start. They existed for Yakuza 5, and they have done the work since then. They have a couple of other things. They worked on some Super Monkey Ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's very funny.
You can find references to like other games that they've worked on and stuff. Actually, funnily enough, Judgment, hilariously enough, just has old like Sega games in it. You can play Virtua Fighter 5, Outrun.
That's pretty funny. That's the beauty of being a first-party game, is you can get those kinds of fun cameos.
No, but Judgment takes place where all these other games have take place in the lovely city of Kamurocho. Is it Kamurocho? I believe so. Kamurocho, yeah. Which is a district in Tokyo known for its seedy underworld and whatnot. And you're basically playing a guy named Yagami. Yagami was a detective who got basically famous overnight when he basically overturned the 99.9% conviction rate of a court case. This is why one of those things I was immediately like, oh, Omega might like really enjoy this. Because Yagami starts off as a lawyer, so he knows like all the laws and whatnot, and does something that is almost nigh impossible. Basically, once a trial gets to the actual courts in Japan, it's pretty much locked and sealed.
Yes, this is a major factor in why the Ace Attorney games are the way they are. For instance, because the setting was localized to America, quote unquote, when they translated them, but the original it's supposed to be in Japan. So did
I actually say that? Did I say detective? Well, he is a
detective first. He is technically a detective.
Yeah.
At the start, you're talking about he's a lawyer.
Yes.
If there is any confusion.
Yes. So,
hence the badge in the opening.
Yep. But in that famous case, he turns out there's an incident, and the person that he got off, who he didn't prove them innocent, but he proved that the case wasn't as ironclad as the prosecution was led to believe. Mm-hmm. and so was able to get dismissed. But then, unfortunately, a month later, the man that he got freed was accused of murdering his girlfriend. And this being, the young upshot lawyer, I will say this, media's ruthless here. Media is fucking devastating over there.
Yes, no. Japan has a lot of stuff like that. Like, hey, do you guys remember? I won't say the exact details, but hopefully it's been several years. People won't regard this part as a spoiler. But hey, you know how like one character's big backstory thing in Persona 5 is the fact that they're like an illegitimate child?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a thing in Japan that's not over here that you just don't follow at all. Like, they're still very socially conservative in a lot of ways over in Japan, and they will absolutely obliterate you in the media and online for it.
Yeah.
It's like how if you smoke a blunt, your career is over. Whereas in America, fucking Elon Musk can go on Joe Rogan and hit a fat one, and like, yeah, he lost a couple $1 million in stock, but like, he's still Elon Musk. So.
Oh, was that charge actually false? I thought he was like guilty of it. Were those drugs actually planted? Because funny enough, they actually did have to replace one of the actors in the game because he was caught up in a drug scandal, and they literally like scrubbed him from the game and redid everything. Oh, he got charged, but suppose they were planted.
I mean, even if that's one of those things where, like, because of the way it is in Japan, that's the defense he would pursue anyways. Oh, they're not my drugs; they're planted. I don't know. That's like a whole deep dive into a legal story of another country that I'm not gonna do.
Yeah,
that's like a whole research thing.
So anyway, faced with this new thing, Yagami is basically gives up his badge, his defense badge. He's like, no, I can't do this, and turns to being a detective, which is interesting because Yagami doesn't actually have like a formal education in lawyering. He literally just studied so hard to pass the bar exam. He was actually raised by, well, not necessarily raised, but he was looked after for a time and was like by the Yakuza. And so he has, ties with them, ties with lawyers, and, ties to the city. So this is what I liked about it. He's giving a very interesting perspective in the game as someone who knows a bit about all worlds. Because he's familiar with the legal system, he's familiar with how, procedures supposed to operate, but he's also familiar with how the Yakuza operate, and kind of straddles both worlds at times. He opens up the Yagami Detective Agency, and his partner in crime is Kaito-san, who was basically used to be a Matsugane clan lieutenant, pretty up there, but due to circumstances got expelled. Now, I don't want to go necessarily into like all the necessarily big nitty-gritty details of it because it's a really nice story, and like I said, they kind of present it in like an episodic series. They even have new chapters, and every time they do it, they have a previously. Like, I just showed the opening. Yeah, I just showed the opening, and it's very TV drama and stuff. So they do that like really, really well. And it's one of those stories that when you think about it, it's very mundane. It's very mundane, but it's presented in a fantastical nature. Like, you saw in this.
Oh yeah, the people saw that with the that like the boss fights and stuff.
Yeah.
At the end there.
Yeah, no, it's like there's no like necessarily magic powers, even though I was using some weird ass fucking items. Don't ask. But it's just a dude with fists who just doesn't get down. He's like, I'm just gonna punch this fucking super cop. As he shoots like oxygen tanks and they explode bridges and shit. Nothing like. It's nothing like. Things are very dramatic and intense and stuff, and it speaks a lot to, I think, how they like Japanese like to do like they speak to like how Japanese like crime dramas and stuff necessarily weren't. It's you still have to get down and put your nose to the grinder and get down to the nitty gritty, but every once in a while something weird will just be like boom and just get out there. So. And if you're a fan of the Yakuza series in general, like, there's no reason why you won't like this game. The only thing that sucks about this game is there's no fucking Kazuma Kiryu in it. Like, you don't get your the usual typical character, but Yagami is great in his own way because he's kind of a serious dude, but he's not averse to like cracking a joke or making puns and stuff. And he just has a bad habit of getting dragged into the weirdest shit. Because that's the interesting thing I think about like the Yakuza series and the series as a whole. While the main story is usually completely completely serious and intense, and the stakes only get higher, all the side content that you do when you're not on the main cast is usually absolutely ridiculous.
Makes sense for the team basically behind Yakuza. Like, you go from like real ass serious business drama to like the fucking diaper room thing. Shit like that. The weird shit. Yeah, off camera is a good way to think of it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And also, no, I do think. Listen, you do need. I don't know who these people are talking about. Who you don't need the Yakuza involved in it. Yes, you do. You're dealing with fucking seedy underworld fucking government conspiracy cover-ups and fucking backroom dealings.
If it's set in the same area as Yakuza is set anyway, it makes sense, right? For the team to build that continuity. Like, you kind of understand some of the stuff that's going on.
Yeah, no,
but you don't understand Yagami's connections lets you explain those things to people who may not have followed directly from the Yakuza series, because this is technically standalone.
Mm-hmm. And I think another thing I like about this is even when you're off camera, Yagami is still doing detective stuff. Like, a lot of the side cases, you do involve you using, like, usually tailing someone. Like, you actually have a tailing mechanic. You have to follow people. Sometimes you have to take photographs of people. Usually it's about people being, like, I want to use the term that uses infidelity, but I can't think of it.
Adultery stuff?
Yeah, adultery stuff. Like, several times you have to catch people, fucking mid-kiss or something. You have to sometimes, like, chase people down when they run from you. You have to find missing cats. It's like, it's all, like... Because that's the thing. It's like, I appreciate that they don't over-glamorize the detective lifestyle. He's constantly broke. Even though at one point in game I literally had over 2 million yen. I was just all like, can I just go give this to the landlady and call it good? No, you cannot. But, he has the classic trope of being a broke detective, so he's constantly doing whatever jobs he can for work. And some of those jobs are just sometimes the easiest, the most...
Yeah, that it's accurate to the PI business, and also, gives your game development an excuse to actually, like, give you the side quests and shit you need.
Yeah, no, and I think it works very, very well, and I super enjoy it. The other thing I like about the game is that, because, like, this is the interesting thing about sick. There's another cat! I hope I get to keep it. The other thing I like about the game is, because you're in this, technically, you can call the game a sandbox because you get to run around and stuff. But when you think about it, the area that you run around is not that big. Like, Kamurocho is like, God, I think it was like 5 blocks across and maybe like 6 or 7 blocks high. That's like a 35 like city block like area to run around, and a lot of it's actually taken up by buildings and stuff. Some of which you enter and some of which you not. But when you think about it, that's actually just a very small slice of a city. Yeah. And you basically will start finding yourself going to like places you've been before constantly and talking to people. And I don't know if this is something that they did in previous games, Yakuza games, because unfortunately, as much as I love the Yakuza series, this is my eternal shame. I've only played Yakuza 1. There's
a lot of games.
Yeah, there's a lot of games. And like mostly it's because like when I play, for my time between playing Yakuza 1 and being able to actually get the other ones, PS2 literally went out, and I was just like, well, fuck. So I've been looking for a time to catch up. Thankfully, PlayStation Plus this month will be letting me do that, but I'm not.
A lot of that backlog.
Mm-hmm. But back to the point. They have a system in Judgment, basically where you can make friends with people, and a lot of those friends are just like shop owners and whatnot. So basically, if you go eat a bunch at their place and talk to them stuff, they'll become your friend and they start, you know, giving you little discounts or little help here and there. One of my favorite things that happens, though, is if you get in a fight outside one of their restaurants or not, usually there's a special EX action, which is, you know, you just do where you hit triangle and special things. They'll come out of the store, throw you an item, and you can use that to defeat an enemy. And depending on what store it is, it can be anything. Like, once I went outside a ramen store, dude threw me like a pair of chopsticks, and I used them to catch a guy's hand and then punch him. Another, like, outside a convenience store, a stick of piping hot Odin, which I flicked the hot juices into their eye and then shoved the Odin into their mouth. And they're just like, oh! As I'm burning the inside of their mouth. Outside, like, a fast food joint, threw me a bottle of hot sauce, which I grabbed the man and then I just shook it in his eyes. You know, stuff like that. And
Yeah. This joins the esteemed category of both the Yakuza series and also, I would say, on the same level, the video game Sleeping Dogs for, like, infamous special action takedowns.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, there's so many special action takedowns.
Like, I did not complete it all the way, but I did also, because it was free, play Yakuza Kiwami, the remaster of the first game, or remake.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember crushing some dudes under bicycles and stuff.
No, they have those, and like they do have some locational ones. Like I think a couple of my favorites is if you do a special takedown near a busy intersection. Sometimes the guy will fall into the street, and then there'll be a car coming. You'll be like, ah, and then you're like, oh shit, and you grab the guy and drag them out of the way of the car, and he's like, oh thank God, but then you just like knee him in the fucking chest, and he's dead anyway. Well, you know, unconscious.
Yeah.
But back on the let's see here. Let me check downloadable content here. It's 30% off. You see, here's the problem. This is the problem I'm having with the download. It says it has the Detectives Essentials set, a pack. Oh, wait. Was it gonna let me scroll? Oh, shit, I get a detective dog? What? Okay, so it does have, so it has that. Yagami and the Kaito. Okay, so it does look like it has them all. Alright, cool. Well, I'm gonna fucking buy it. Like, right meow.
He's going for it.
I am. Hang on, is this gonna show my password? Okay. Wait, no, it was gonna. I mean, you see me typing it. Hang on 1 second, nerds. I gotta take away from the fucking. Not tonight. That password is invalid. God damn it. Yeah, we are. But talking about the friends and stuff, and it's also great too because, like, I think one of the things that, you know, a detective lives and dies by is by the people you know. And as you start making friends with people, they'll have, like, certain fonts of knowledge. So if you're working on a case, and if you don't know the, no, you can go to someone who might have an idea about it, and they can give you a clue. Usually it'll cost you a little to get it done that way, but Legendary Boss Hunt. I don't agree with the decision that Legendary Boss Hunter is making. It's like one of these, because they're talking about how apparently like things in Yakuza 7 like lead up into this, and that's why he's not gonna watch. And I'm just like, yeah, but now that you like when you, I'm just like, Let me see here. So it's installed. Yeah. It's like, I'm not saying they're wrong. I just disagree with it because you're basically cutting yourself out. I don't know if you like have to play them in a particular order. All right, well, let me turn this back on. So now we're just waiting for the
season pass to download.
Yeah.
As we look at this cat.
Oh, I actually got to download them now.
Yeah, it should queue up pretty fast.
Alrighty. You installing? Yeah, you installing.
Yeah, it'll fire through the list.
But so you basically build up like this network of friends and people you can talk to and all that stuff. And like I said, it makes you feel really involved in the city of Kamurocho, and that's one of the things I really like. All right, so let's do this. New game. We'll do normal.
All right. Adjusting brightness and all that.
Right there. All right. Turn on autosave. Yes.
And while Lucky is sweeping through this initial setup stuff, I'm going to step away for a second. I need to go refill my water bottle.
Mm-hmm.
I will pause the audio, and you guys can enjoy the opening cutscene and Lucky figuring out what the heck's going on real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be right back.
Depictions and discussions of suicide, sexual assault, and bullying. Please exercise caution before playing and take breaks as needed. Wow. Serious. Isazaki Injincho, Yokohama.
まもなく現場到着です。煙は漂っていますが、やはり火事のものではなさそうです。発煙筒か何か、いたずらによるものと思われます。本部了解。一応現場での確認をお願いします。
やっぱりいたずらだな。何も燃えちゃいない。
なんだってこんなバカやるんだろうな。
俺らが大騒ぎすんのを見たいんだよ。あ、おい、あそこだ。
The fuck? Oh, was that a fucking body?
なんだよ。うわ、なんかすげえ嫌なんだけど。
でも俺らが見ないわけにいかねえだろ。
Ooh. Oh, that man has been there for a minute. Slight body horror warning?
日本の刑事裁判
Yeah.
その
Yep, roll sand.
99.9% が有罪となる。そんな中、かつて弁護士だった俺はある殺人事件で万に一つの無罪を勝ち取った。大したもんだと褒められた。けどその結果、一人の女の子が殺された。法廷の取りこぼした真実の陰で。万人に公平なはずの法がいつも完璧に機能しているとは限らない。そんな時、助けを求める声を探すのが
Okay, I'm back. Unpausing.
俺の仕事だ。
December 6th,
Still doing an
2021.
intro.
Mhm.
Recent. By the way, I didn't say this earlier because you were deep in the convo about the game series, but I did totally put both games in my Amazon wish lists.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's detective work.
We're going to be sitting watching.
Eating buns, doing stuff.
何
Hey, actually, you probably watched that video, so you know. But internet, hey, did you know that Japan had hardtack?
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm like playing FGO. I'm pretty sure they did actually. Like, I knew kind of it because that's Fumikataro's and Kato Danzo's gift is they basically give you the super packed nutrient balls. So I'm pretty sure that's what that was based on. So I was assuming they had something like that. But no, someone actually broke it down.
Yeah, we'll talk probably a little bit more about food stuff. Speaking of my Amazon, wish list, I am staring at my Amazon shopping cart, which does contain the Ultimate Final Fantasy 14 Cookbook, Essential Culinary Guide to Heidelin.
私も今クイズとかの気分じゃないです。
As I debate when the right time to ship this to Lucky is. Surprises are for chumps. But if you want more of a historical stuff, I have been greatly enjoying filtering through a YouTube channel called, I believe it's Tasting History with Max Miller?
Yes.
Let me make sure I'm getting it correct. But yeah, he's obviously done a wide variety of stuff, some of which you may have seen. There's some videos he did on like the dining quality in the Titanic and stuff, but he actually has some historical ones I've looked at for a few things, just casually on the internet. Like, I hadn't gone into his YouTube channel before because I think the one I always saw recommended was, he's got a video on Civil War era rations. I think it's called, the video is about hardtack and hellfire stew, which I'm gonna assume is a spicy meat and biscuit mix. But
Hey,
he's got a couple, and the one we're referencing is Hyorogan, which is the ninja food pills, basically. The name translates to like food balls, but you know, if you've ever watched a Naruto, or it was actually discussed in FGO, or a couple of things, there's, you know, it's an actual thing, and no, it's real though, and he even does the recipe and makes them and tastes them, and is like, yeah, that'll wake you up. Spoilers, it's because it's just a lot of cinnamon and sugar with some rice for body.
This dialogue system is a choice. I'm not sure I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, this was when they... Actually, no, this was after 7. So this was after they switched to everything is more JRPG styled. Then again, I mean, at least in this context, I can kind of see why, because, like, they're just sitting in the car otherwise.
Mm-hmm. That's not what a boy who cares about you says.
Yeah, probably is using 700. I think that's a good time to pivot into something else. Speaking of engines. I know that segue doesn't make sense yet. I'll get to it. Well, I've got some of you internet, and Lucky's, you know, chewing through dialogue. Hey, so hypothetically, internet, if I was looking for some sort of software which, you know, would, for streaming purposes, would display the visual data of a Nintendo DS game, which I own, obviously, but some kind of simulation environment software so that I might capture the screen of my DS, which totally still works. Actually, that's not like sarcasm. My DS does still work. It's just, you know, it's a DS. What's the primo software for that these days? And I bring this up because, so to let everybody know, there will be no progression next week. No, not 3DS, DS. Yuzu? Okay, I'll double check that one. Well, I've got 2 names. I've got some stuff to pick through. The reason why I bring this up is so, like I said, there'll be no progression next week. Loth is house sitting, and Robin works that week, so... we're down 2 guys, and there's only 6 of us right now anyway, so just not gonna bother.
Yeah, there's the office. There's Ebisu Pond, Popo. Where's the Don Quixote? No, it's gone.
Unless like Vesper and David like both bust out of the they come flying off the top rope to come in. We probably will not prog next week. So I'm looking for some extra streams and stuff to do to like give you guys extra content and fuck around. And I've talked it up at great length. I may have busted out my DS and plugged it into my goddamn wall because I have to do that because the battery is bad. You can tell the battery is bad, by the way. The battery cover is swollen slightly on the back. I don't know how cheap it is to buy a new original Nintendo DS battery, but
the wet burger's gone too.
Y'all should know. You should remember. I am a huge fan of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2: Grimoire of the Rift. It is a game that legitimately, I'm pretty sure I have like 500 hours in.
All right.
So. No, Axe, you're inventing problems I don't need. It's a Nintendo DS game. That's what I need to work on. Also, I need to make sure that I can properly, get the software out of the cartridge that I already own and whatnot.
ここは慎重に行こう
But it's a DS game. I never owned a 3DS, so I've never played any 3DS games, so I don't need to worry about stream simulating them for now. I think I've heard of that one before. Where the fuck is a pen? Usually I have a pen at my computer desk so I can take notes, but I can't see it right now. I may have to get up and look for that so I can write some stuff down. But anyway, like I said, I legitimately think I must have, like, over the course of the, 15 or 20 years or however long it's been since this game came out, I think I might have, 500 hours because I have a cleared file. I may still want to run out of battery then, because that's pretty cheap still. All things considered. Nice little action there to fake him out. You're not being tailed, I swear. But what I was saying was, I still have my original the first time I cleared the game file.
Ooh, nice. They automatically put me in the cover.
Ooh, that is good. Smooth. My original cleared game file, the one I beat the game originally as a child, has about 120 hours on it. And I never delete that one in save slot 1. And I'm pretty sure I have legitimately started the game over and played it through, 3 or 4 more times, usually racking up hundreds of hours. I've already got, I started a new file, and I already have, 25 hours on it. Though, I will say, 5 of that is probably just leaving it, turned on my bed and not playing through them because they're tactical. But, like I said, I love this fucking game. I've played it a lot. I would love to be able to bring it to the people, but as you know, Square Enix are moral cowards and refuse to remaster this game or put it out on modern devices, where I would buy it for all my friends.
Oh, I also gotta get focus. Interesting.
Oh yeah, you gotta make sure your camera shots are good.
今だ
There you go.
This is always funny for me in games because, in real life, I am a shit photographer. Oh shit, speed lines.
I have to go into focus
terrible at
mode.
taking pictures, even with my camera. So these kinds of side quests in games are always very
海藤
funny.
さんの携帯に対処
But yeah,
さ
so
んと
I am thinking about maybe doing some of that on a Wednesday evening because we will not be recording Prague for all of you. So I will need to look into balancing such a thing correctly and working on it. But okay, I will double check everything and make sure I can acquire the software I would need to simulate the environment on my PC screen so you can see it. To acquire a software capture device for my real DS. But the other thing I was just thinking of, because I just saw somebody else stream, was, and I talked about it earlier that I was going to reinstall it, and I might do it anyway because, like, my Thursday is free too. I could also do, I think I could set up and run, because it's not a very CPU-intensive game, do another stream run of Game Dev Tycoon, which is an old reach. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just looking at this female model, and I feel like they've taken a step back from what Judgment had.
Yeah, I don't know. Wasn't there somebody was talking about how they did use real actors for some of the models originally, and then they decided to change that up? It could be that maybe they've toned down from mocap and photo scan models. This is definitely all in engine. Like it's not pre-rendered.
Access says that it's a bit rougher, so yeah, I think it might be...
We probably re-rigged the animation engine to be less mocap heavy, and that means that we have to deal with hand animation. Intriguing. These kinds of decisions are always interesting.
Yeah, no, it's like, I didn't want to necessarily be all like, oh, it's worse, but I'm like, it feels different from what as I literally just came off of playing, the previous game. I'm just like, wait a minute.
It definitely does look a little different. Like the facial rig and the body motions are definitely different, and I am again wondering if it's less photo scan and mocap heavy.
Mm-hmm.
That might actually be a thing. This isn't suspicious at all.
What's up, bro? I've heard of a game of Akiba's Trip. I have not played it though.
Yeah, I think I've even seen some gameplay somewhere, but yeah, I've never tried it out myself. But yeah, so like next week we're not gonna have Prague, so I might throw in some couple extra bonus streams. One of them could be Game Dev Tycoon, a game I also really love. That with I think so that's an ancient piece of Studio Mega history. Back when I tried doing more Let's Play style stuff, before I really realized that at least with our setup, that's kind of almost too much of a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was manually recording for 30-minute blocks, and like whatchamacallit, like uploading them separately and stuff. And I think a better way would be record for like a bigger block and get an editor to take a crack at it. But that's not what our current setup is. But I captured those like in the way long ago. Did a playthrough or two. I would not necessarily recommend checking out the series. Like, obviously, I want to plug my own videos, but, like, those are fucking old. Like, that's, like, a couple microphones ago. I was using a different capture software, so, like, I don't know how good it is, but they're still there. They exist, I think. Let me actually make sure. I don't think I deleted them. We've skimmed some old stuff, but I will double-check. Yeah, no, okay. It's there. Like 13 episodes. They vary in length. Yep, those are 4 years old. Literally 4 years old. Looks like the last one I did was August 23rd, 2018. So yeah, like tech-wise, that's a long time ago for us. So like I said, don't necessarily recommend them, but you might track them down if you're interested in like what the game does. But it's just a fun little game that I think y'all might enjoy seeing it go through. And like I'll take like stream suggestions for like game names and other genre combos and stuff. So yes, that might be some bonus content. Hold on, I'm gonna go dig up a pen while Lucky beats people.
Yep. Alrighty. Alright, cool. Now can I beat up people? Yes.
Putting my ears back on. Very high kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we didn't really talk about that. Is there a reason why this defensively returned private investigator is like a martial arts master?
He learned martial arts from his father, and then he went through a rough period in his life where he got in a bunch of fights. So he's someone who basically was, kind of classically trained in martial arts, but then, took it to the streets. And he uses it to keep, punks from trying to kick his ass, which happens on a semi-regular basis. Alright.
Nah, I'm not gonna do meme streams.
金下ろしとかないとポッポに寄ってくか
Like I genuinely enjoy bringing you guys, and I know Lucky does too. Obviously, he's playing a game now. I really like doing like gameplay streams and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like
I would have.
We could do other content stream style, but
now, honestly, I could. We could do more Let's Play kind of stuff, but again, that's like more extra work and stuff. And oop.
Yeah, I honestly, I think, and I think it's a reason why like streamers on YouTube and Twitch are bigger is like the very little post production and the like instant response from your audience most of the time is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And it flows, well. And usually we get one or two people in, and like sometimes there's stuff that doesn't really be reactive. Like I have streamed from my phone, like opening Yu-Gi-Oh boxes, and like those get very, very tiny slices of views and stuff. But, you know, there's a decent amount of work that goes in. And a lot of our audience, I think, is baked in for longer term stuff. And I think YouTube likes it that way. Like,
Run away, me!
we don't do a lot of video editing. And, like, you know, we do longer form stuff. And that's what people like. And, like, sometimes there's some long backlog. Like, I know two people have talked about that with certain AP series, like, getting too into the backlog. Still doing decent on both of the Gensekai episodes that have come out, though.
Yay.
But I think the stream style is good, and like a lot of our audience like has talked up our longer episodes of like Let's Talk FGO because it lets them, you know, grind more FGO or play other video games and like, or they listen, you know, at work on commutes or whatever, and it's just like a solid time filler as opposed to like if we did like a Let's Play style, like I recorded, you know, for 2 hours and I turned that into 4 videos that are 30 minutes long. That's, you know, little hits here and there, and that works for steady content, but that would not necessarily get you your fix. You know, you'd be digging into like playlists and shit, which I do fuck around a lot with playlists. I think playlists are a great feature, even if YouTube doesn't always agree. But yeah. So, like I said, next week, keep your eye out for not only our regular Great Ace Attorney stream, but gonna try and string together some extra stuff since we won't be doing a prog release that week, so we'll come up with some other shit.
Anyway, let's see here. I wonder if there's actually... no, probably getting some sort of software is probably the best idea. I know there are some ways to actually hook up your physical device to computers, but that's probably a bit of a pain. So yeah, just getting some software is probably the...
Especially, like I said, my current DS, and I would probably have enough time to order something on Amazon for like a new battery pack or whatever, but my current DS is like not, it requires to be wall plugged at all times. The battery life is like 30 minutes tops before it reds out. Not really conducive to fucking around with connections and stuff. Man, his boy stepping.
First, I have to see if there's a fucking cat. Oh, what's this? Hold and think.
Oh, can you kind of like hint to yourself?
Oh, yeah. But first, I must check to see if there's a cat. I don't hear a cat, so maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see here.
Sorry, folks, stretching a little. Shoulders and neck are a little stiff. We've managed to slam a jammer for about 2 hours.
Getting hungry.
But yeah, so we just mentioned it just now. We do have the new AP series Gensekai is ongoing. Loki was lightning fast on uploading the second one.
Yes.
Burpee. So you guys can go ahead and check out episode 2, Chicken or Fish, Rats. And if you don't know what that means, you got to watch the episode to find out. Heyo. But we will continue our work. Obviously, work on the back end is going on. Like I said, you know, we spent a lot of time doing, you know, funny nonsense. Food is definitely very heavy on the list of things we spend, quite frankly, too much time talking about. But we have fun, so. Reminds me of a conversation. Lucky is currently obsessed with planning everybody's meals.
A bit, yes.
Absolutely demented, complete madman. But it's okay because the writing I did for the game has reinforced this. It reminds me, I think this got mentioned on air on Let's Talk, but to bring it up again, you like asked everybody like, what kind of meals would your characters like? And I was just like, oh my god, guys, if you don't have an answer for this, I'm gonna fucking demolish you. I have spent so much time doing research and writing about example food and drink and shit. And like, there need to be some extra prompting and some work. Like, even you were bamboozled about some of the additions I had made to the
Oh yeah.
the fun idea on food and drink stuff. But like, there is definitely a diving off point there. And you have spent extensive time crafting the meal plan.
Yes. Oh, now we're doing parkour. Interesting.
Well, you know, you got to get around in a urban environment.
And I have a grip gauge. I would like to go up. Oh, I have to hold circle. Okay, that's what it is. So we got a little bit of platforming in this one. It's not a bad idea. Yakuza games are always trying something new and weird in their games.
Yeah. Sorry, I said wait for a second. I had some spicy chicken bites for lunch. Definitely spicy. They went in on that buffalo sauce. Okay.
I hear cats.
But yes, everything is juiced up for that, and we'll have another session tomorrow.
Hello, small
We're
friends.
working on another quest.
Or I'd like to pet the
Meow,
cats. I cannot? Very well then.
Nope, no button for that. Just gonna go about your business.
But no, I don't know why. I said I've always liked cooking. Oh, hello.
どうもお疲れ様です。
ああ、こいつ知ってるか？いえ、初めて見る顔っすね。
俺はそのコウスケのダチなんですけど、ちょっとはぐれちゃって。
コウスケの
And y'all can be live as easily as his
そう
breed.
いやあいつ今日も来てましたよ。マジで毎日懲りねえっつうか。なら誤解のはずだろう。なんでこんなとこにいんの？
Yeah, this is, you know, classic
ですよ
situation.
ね。それが俺にもよくわかんなくて。
But no, I mean, the cooking thing is why that, and according to my apps, it's at a low price currently. That's why I'm probably gonna shoot you the Final Fantasy XIV cookbook as a gift for your birthday.
Yeah. I'd be super excited about that.
Energy.
おい待て。お前ちょっと買いに
Shit, a
I
membership
could,
card.
I could fire the order right now. It's just then it would come early before your birthday. I don't know if that's. I don't know if people care. Birthday gifts are interesting. You'll notice I'm not trying to do any surprise, but that's because I don't want to get Lucky a redundant gift.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone's gonna
I'm
get
clear
it.
with him.
No, I don't think so.
加減なこと抜かすんじゃねえバカが。
Oh shit, they got me with the bamboozling.
ねえんだよ。てめえ何者だ。どっから入り込みやがった。この野郎。
I'm gonna have to beat that smart out of you. We can't have smart Yakuza. What the fuck? That ruins the trope!
コウスケ君はそこで何してんの？
うるせえ。黙ってけ。
Tiger style.
They are merely street punks.
Mhm.
You will destroy them. Possibly throw them out a window.
I don't know if I can throw him out the window. I'll try though. Oh Jesus!
We're doing a hearty mix of judo and also some pro wrestling moves here.
Oh, that was your face.
What face? No, he's getting up after that. Damn.
Well, they're invincible as they teach me how to fight. As if I didn't just come out of a fucking out of a previous judgment game.
True. That's always the funny thing about these kinds of games, that when you do certain moves and you're like,
There
oh,
we
that
go.
man's broken all his bones, and he's like, no, I'm fine.
All right, now I gotta.
No
pick
honor
up.
among street punks, though.
What do we got here? Oh shit! I got the chair. All right, can I actually beat these guys now?
Looks like you got like one more checkbox left. There it is. Okay.
Oh, they actually get scared. Interesting. Chair.
That happens in some of the Yakuza games, at least. I think I remember that from Kiwami. If you do things in your certain power mode stance, people will be like, "Oh my god!"
He's coming right for me.
All right, now that you have broken all the bones in their faces with the chair.
But yeah, with Jinsekai, there's a lot of things I'm excited about. Like, cooking is one of them. I've been yelling a lot about that in there. Not just because, I want to know what people want to eat, but, like, how to actually make it. Because there's a lot that goes involving cooking that people don't really understand. Like, there's a lot of ingredients that go into some things that, thankfully, I think Omega is just going to kind of hand wave.
Yeah, we've had this discussion before, and I've kind of talked about how, like, especially given the gametic, lit RPG nature of the series, the setting, there's no real need to nickel and dime people on the realism, right?
Yeah. Because, like, some things I was thinking about, like, to turn, like, milk into butter, all you really need is a butter churn, but you might specifically, like, want the cream of the milk instead and just, like, straight milk. And with making cheese, you need, like, stuff like, rennet and whatnot. But that's a lot of things you need to keep track of. It's like, so it's just, if you have milk, you can make cheese. It's not going to be, finely aged cheese, because that actually needs fucking time. But you can make fresh cheese. And with, like baked goods, like, you usually need, like, some sort of yeast or maybe baking powder or baking soda and stuff. Or, like, nah, you just need, like, some. Oh, I actually have to do a stealthen. Holy shit. Interesting. It's, you can just, like hand wave it. Like, one of the things, like, I actually gotta tap this, like, I gotta actually figure this out, but I'm gonna need, like, assorted spices for the chili I'm gonna make, and I'm not gonna go through, like, through every individual spice I want. I'm just be like, Omega, I would like to buy an X amount of spices for chili at a gold, please. And he's probably gonna be like, okay. Then I will put on my character sheet assorted spices for a meal.
Yeah.
I'm like, perfect. And that way I can, I can have the fun of doing logistics and whatnot, but I don't have to actually write down, like, a 2-page shopping list for everything. I can just grab the general goods I need of that, and then I can throw it all in the pot. The ingredients will jump up and down. There'll be a fun little ditty, and then I'll have food, hopefully. I mean, it's going to be...
Like I said, I explicitly compared it to the way cooking works in games like Breath of the Wild. You put the ingredients in the pot, you do the little cooking animation, and something comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that something edible? Well, that's going to depend on dice, which, are a variable.
Mm-hmm.
As seen from the last AP episode, where everybody got shellacked by the dice more than once.
Yep. You only see boxes!
The cardboard boxes are calling to you, Yagami.
Let's see, when taking
They are the
cover,
true
move
way
the
of
cover,
stealth.
magnifying glass, get everything you need. Alright.
おいちょっといいか
It is December. Everyone is
こ
going
の
to be
ビ
in
ル
their
に
big
侵
ass
入者が
coats.
入り込んだらしい他の連中にも伝えといてくれ
Big ass coat.
はい
But yeah,
So-
no, like there's supposed to be a lot of depth to the game and the kind of things you can work on, but also because it has explicit elements of gameism in it. It's like if you guys wanted to go mine some resources, it's not like you have to literally, all right, I must use a pickaxe, I must carefully cultivate the right rocks and acquire this iron ore and then heat it to a perfect temperature. No, you hit the rock with your pickaxe. The rock, after a couple of swings, explodes into ore and rocks. And then you pick those up and you put them in your furnace and they turn into ingots, blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that. Like, it's just how things work, and it lets us streamline these kinds of things so that we can do the stuff that matters and is interesting, like, meal prep, like crafting, whatever. But we don't have to bog it down in, like, Well, actually, in order to churn butter, you need a butter churn, which wasn't invented till the year, 1611 to 12.
Try not to hit these fucking cans, because if I hit these cans, it's gonna be fucking.
Yeah. No, I see. I was at first like, why didn't you just walk over? But I'm like, no, I get it. Okay. There's obstacles. Yoink.
There we go.
And it's that kind of like there's some logistics, but also there's not logistics.
Like it's
streamlined.
Mm-hmm.
There you need to eat and sleep and stuff like that. And there's explicitly rules to keep track of that somehow, but it does not necessarily have to be complex of like, where are you eating? What are you eating?
Mm-hmm.
We can just say we eat lunch, but I like to ask these fluff questions because it can be part of the role playing to, be like, oh, this character likes this or that. And that can, put you in the right mindset, think of some things and go through some stuff. And I've done plenty of work coming up with both real foods and fantastical foods and other, nonsense. And, sometimes that can work as a motivator. Like I said, I've been building up to, watching videos and clips and whatever of people from a lot of games. Like some of it's, Asmund Golden, and a lot of his like mixed WoW and even 14 content. But there's other shit I've been watching. But that's a big thing with a lot of these like big immersive MMO type games. And arguably, if multiple people are being isekai'd to an RPG type world, that's kind of like an MMO, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, at the very least, you guys have a party of multiple free-willed player characters. So, sorry, I was just bamboozled by the decor. I guess that's the tatami room. It's a whole ass Japanese room in the middle of this building. I know you put shrines on roofs, but oh, you get to throw coins?
Yeah, I get to throw coins. Oh, it actually cost me money to do it too.
Oh, it's fucking great. I love it. Fucking pitch 100 yen coin. And
He's picking up my coin. Give me back my coin. Give me back my fucking coin.
Like most assholes in stealth games, he's just like, oh, hey, a penny. As opposed to what you would actually do if you were on guard duty. If somebody flicked a coin across your vision, you would be like, who the fuck threw that coin?
Whomst.
Anyway, sleepy time now for that guy. But yeah, so like a lot of those types of like MMO tropes, include like food buffs, etc., or like social spaces for player characters. But it's all just kind of part of an oeuvre.
Oh, they're playing Chohan.
There's a lot of these things. So like it makes sense to ask these questions and get your opinions on things and kind of like work out the stuff, right? Like, and get all the things. But not to, like, fight you on, like, how much it takes ingredients. Like you said, like, to make a baked pastry, you just need flour, and then your dough would be made of several elements, depending on what you're doing. Like, dessert pastries is usually, there's a little bit of milk and eggs and butter in there.
Oh, yeah.
Sugar, usually. That kind of stuff. And depending on, where you are and what you're doing, you might skip some of that stuff, like, you can go for more or less for lighter dough or heavier dough, etc. But like you take those ingredients, you mix it, that's the dough, you put the dough in a cook fire, that cooks the dough, and now the dough is like bread. And if you did the pastry, like you threw some fruits in there, we don't need to necessarily be like, and you shape the pastry dough into a container for the fruit you got. It's just, no, you apply cook fire to fruit and dough, fruit bread.
Yes. And that's the way I've been trying to think of it, but even with the like simplify like that, there's a lot to think about and whatnot and stuff. Like I actually came up with a meal plan. Has anyone actually talked? No, very few people actually talk unless I'm yelling about something.
I know, and some of it's just like not being around.
Yeah.
Like I know his card is currently yellow. He is away. Dallas is not logged in right now. That's okay. We joked about this on Let's Talk, and it's okay. And Dallas can't say shit because he's not here. Unless we directly call him out, Dallas doesn't really talk to us about stuff except on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And with Prague, it's very similar. It's like a couple of times during the week. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. He's got stuff going on today. I know he's a busy man. He's also melting. Well, hopefully we can talk about some of the stuff tomorrow. the game day allows us to talk about certain things, but also we can, work on some other stuff off time. I know Lucky fills a lot of his idle hours at work with these kinds of discussions.
Mhm.
And occasionally the boys are around to do similarly. Some of the boys.
Mhm.
I am usually available at certain hours to talk about stuff. And like I said, the food thing is just something that, like, I started it as, like, I was inspired by, like, some other YouTube channels and just some stuff. It started as a drink list with how to drink, and I was just trying to think about what Access was like, but then that quickly snowballed into, like, what are weird fantasy snacks we can make? From the dire bear claw.
Mhm.
It's a bear claw, but bigger. To, like, all kinds of stuff, like, in the snack list, there's like healing fritters. What if you did a like a sweet fritter patty, but you put healing potion in there? Talking about a lot of different ideas for, like, how different cultures make alcohol, because that can be, like, a really interesting way to look at, like, their economy and personality, for instance, right?
Mhm.
Like, a lot of it's almost a running gag at this point about dwarf cooking. Everything the dwarfs make is, like, heavy and rich and probably, slightly intense and not necessarily suited if you're not a big, strong, tough dwarf. And it also involves a lot of stuff that you can find in caves.
Young punks.
Headstrong. I think they're so full of it. Well, I mean, because you were stealth, he didn't see you demolish, how many dudes did you fucking take apart?
Several.
I feel like there was like half a dozen in that first one.
Once a week.
I bet this punk skips leg day.
Oop.
He had a little proc counter. Beat his ass. Oh shit! There's some dynamic. I see the blood spatters. On the
Oh
walls.
yeah.
That's pretty fun. Reminds me, I watched Mandalore Gaming talk about Fear 1 and 2.
Really? I watched the one on System Shock too.
Yeah, I might want to go back and watch that one. Yeah, his Fear reviews are interesting. I didn't really piece it together when you did those 3 games like back to back. Go watch those old streams, by the way. They're pretty fun. It's Lucky playing an action horror game. I was in chat a lot, but we were not yet set up to do double mic streams, I think.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty fun experience. But, like, it really is interesting to see because he talked about, they're 2 separate videos, but he talks about them. Like, the first Fear game was, like, had very, very specific AI design, and had very specific, like, lighting and particle effects and stuff. And 2 kind of, like, streamlines for a lot more of the modern shooter look. And, like, I don't really have any objections to Fear 2's aesthetic. But it definitely does. They did do kind of an interesting art shift there. And one of those things was, like, in 1 there was a lot of, like, extra bullet impact, sparks, blood spatters. They said we were devoted to whatchamacallit. They heavily modeled on
Oh wait, they actually. Shit.
yeah, no, they're out in Japan.
Hang on. Pause.
Yeah.
I need to go see this.
Yeah, somebody's got a link to the Reddit thread in Let's Talk. Okay, so First Ascension is the one we've all seen. Then there's the cheerleader one. Then there's, like, fuck you, giant swords one, and then the Final Ascension.
Excuse me. Yeah, but then it's cheerleader. Ah, yes, we are butt. This is good.
Yeah. Probably gonna want to take a swing at this banner.
Yeah. Or you say being very cute.
Yeah, I like how even her FA, it's the little sailor. Kind of funny. Though she does have her like serious goth phase in Ascension 3.
As she does.
Well, she's an Avenger, you know. Also, are those supposed to be pool lights or are there pool ghosts?
Both? No, those are pool lights.
Okay. Little floaty light balls.
Yeah. Night pools are a thing.
Usually you just put the light in the pool. Anyway, people are probably going to yell about the kit, so
That's all they're going to yell about.
they'll yell about smart stuff.
Nice. Okay, back to this.
Anyway, we'll discuss that next
Oh.
week on Let's Talk FGO.
Oh, I already got my...
And yes, there will probably be an Ibuki in the thumbnail somewhere.
I might make it the whole... Not the whole num, though. Just that whole third. Just done. Let's see here. Okay, so we actually spread out Tiger and Crane into their own. Interesting. Okay. We have 184 skills.
But yeah, so as I was saying, like a lot of the work into like foods and alcohol and stuff was like trying to build out cultural touchstones that I couldn't do. Like obviously in the core doc of Gensakai, if you read it, I do have notes about different food styles and stuff, and I know Lucky is data mining that for all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Asking me about rice and stuff. You know, and where various crops are grown, and I do my effort to try and correlate things appropriately with certain things. But we've got a wide variety of elements. And I just, you know, I like to think up little things and throw them in there. I mined the internet for a few ideas, and I'm always open to suggestions from the lads, the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Don't always get a lot of super clap back there, but, you know. It's fine. It's pretty complete. There's like 24 pages of stuff. Even includes some stuff that you shouldn't eat. Don't eat dwarf rations. They're made with clay. They're called clay rations. You know, like iron rations, but with clay.
Oh, excuse me.
But I know Lucky has enjoyed mining some of the ideas. And I like just, you know, whipping out a couple of weird
Oh, now we're going to do a chase? Yep.
yeah, tutorial stuff. I gotta teach you all the basics.
Mm-hmm.
You got sneaking, you got photographing, you got punching.
Now it's
It
chasing.
wasn't need a lot, yes.
Avoiding.
Yeah, that was the bulk of the work I did this week, was working on the next section of the Game Master's facing side with NPC stat lines for Giants, because Giants have always been mentioned in Gensakai, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
We just have floating power-ups on the road. Thanks, game.
You know, when you got...
Oh, shit, I can wall run now. What the fuck?
Well, you did pick up parkour.
True. Oh, shit, I forgot about that. Oh, shit. I'm dying.
Ow. Just eat shit on the trash can.
Pretty much. Oh.
Do a full fucking send flip. If we're talking about the analogy that the Judgment games are kind of like a TV drama series, this is clearly like we got some consulting with some stunt work.
Yeah. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about like some of the aesthetic here so far, but like I said, the modeling is a little weird, but I do like the new the added gameplay systems. Yeah, like the parkour, like actual parkour is cool, stealth is cool. Oh. Oof.
Ran out of gas.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sorry,
Go to the gym once a week now, motherfucker.
I find it just a little weird where, like, I understand that they want to, like, put, like, a stamina bar system in it. But the fact that there's just, like, here, have, like, floating health power-ups in your fucking chase sequence. I'm just like, that's a little weird. It's a little weird, but okay.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, well.
But yeah, so, Gensakai, writing about giants.
Giants.
They've always kind of existed in the backstory, and been mentioned a few places, but I hadn't really fleshed them out. So for the first time with whatchamacallit, for the GM side, I had to do
前はあそこで弁護士やってたんだ。で、今は探偵向きの仕事を
like a lot of lore writing, basically.
そういうことだったんですね。
Almost not quite as much. I don't delve as deep as I do in those sections, but kind of the same style as the segments I'd already written about, like speaking about like the food and stuff, the different races, cultures in the world, and kind of like the countries and stuff. So I had to do kind of a baby version of that to talk about giant stuff and kind of explain what's going on. And you know, to include a lot of the classical tropes and mythologizing, but not necessarily like
コウスケ君、
override everything.
聞いてくれ、優子ちゃん。
Yep, scooch over, buddy.
何もしてないからさ。てか何なのこの人たち。
優子って誰？私、ケイコだよ。
Oh shit!
あれ？
嘘でしょ。もう信じらんない。
コウスケ君さ、恵子さんにかかってる店の請求、あれチャラにしてもらいたいんだけど。
そんなの
Like,
俺に
walk
言
it
われ
out.
ても。
Yeah, it's several
あと彼
paragraphs.
女がこれまでに払ってきた80万。
So I had to kind of explain like what a giant is and how they work. I came up with a pretty good explanation.
じゃね、ふざけすぎだろ。
You know, it is mentioned giants help the scions, you know, shape creation. I came up with a special noun for that, the shaping, with a capital S.
Capital means it's
Capital
important.
letters.
よく言った
Yeah,
ぞタボ
kind of the giants thing.
あ、俺のスマホ。
But
ぼったくり店の
because they are obviously, you know, talking about like, oh, giant rebellions, you know, they did rebel against the Scions, some of them. They sided with Minim and the Forces of Darkness, etc. Some of them still work for them now. How did that come about? Well, so giants do have free will, but they're not really alive like mortals are. They don't have a mortal soul. When they die, their life force just kind of pantheistically becomes part of the world again.
それって。
Which does mean I get to have some interesting, you know, talk about them, like what their like spirituality is like, because they don't operate on the same profile as like other the alliance type free races, the kind of people you play as, because you know those people objectively know where they go, what happens when they die and stuff like that, you know, underworld and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So you know, there got to be some interesting flavor, but that kind of wiggle room does give them the ability to kind of turn around. And you know, we talked about like how
やめとけ。
size, shapes, and everything. They're kind of definitely got a lot of their like elemental themes. Like for instance, you know, stone giants are actually, you know, the mountainy giants are actually stony skinned. They don't have like hair.
もう本家が解散しちま
They
った
kind
の
of
に
look like statues. When they die, they, you know, their life leaves them and they turn into rock. Stuff like that.
いた人なんだって。
なら
Fire giants have
ただの
flaming
元
hair.
ヤクザじゃねえか未練たらしく大門ちらつかせやがって
And you know, it's not exclusively evil giants. There are still, you know, good guys left among the giants, but they're pretty few and far between, and they usually kind of keep themselves in small places and far away. And there's kind of some tension back and forth. A lot of historical grudges with certain types of people that, you know, the kind of thing that like the giants helped the gods shape a lot of creation, but when the giants, you know, came into conflict with their little pet mortals, the gods didn't really interfere one way or the other. You can see some resentment building up there.
Yeah.
People might be upset. So that kind of like explores the back and forth. I, you know, include some examples of some places giants used to be. Some of them are like, you know, completely abandoned dungeon type stuff. The giant catacomb, a literal giant catacomb. They had a wooded keep that is now known as the Giant's Wood because it was, you know, destroyed during the giant rebellions, stuff like that. There's some evil places full of evil giant cities that are, you know, full up of giants you can punch.
Punching.
And then also some, you know, some places that actually are like positively, like there's an isle off the Polis League where it's like officially chartered as part of the league because there's a giant there who kind of built a little settlement there. It's known as the island is called Voladora, or also the Flying Castle, because it's like, I'm imagining like very sheer strong cliffs with like huge overhangs. So like it rises up out of the ocean and it really does look like a flying castle kind of a thing. It's not literally flying, but you know, it's interesting. It's an airship port. And then there was another giant settlement that's like been partially taken over by a clan of pork, clan Stonebones. They built a big town there, but there is still an upper half that's all mysterious and foggy. Ooh. You know, building in the adventuring type stuff. Like I said, I did a lot of, for the vibes of this, I did a lot of like reading and rewatching, like, you know, Dark Souls style lore, Breath of the Wild style lore type stuff, trying to build out that sense of adventure and independent stuff, especially because I know that people who are not just me are reading and looking at this, so to, you know, give people story hooks and stuff, flesh out. Interesting. Number 3.
Okay, another point against this. I don't like how they'll have just normal ass conversations and cutscenes, and then they have to do these fucking weird ass cutaway ones like this.
Yeah, it seems like if it were the same dialogue, the transition's a little weird.
はい
It's like they're using one for cutscenes and then one's for regular, but like.
お二人がフューザの店に
I mean, this could just be ambient dialogue.
そうなる可能性が一番。
行こうか、ケイコさん。
I mean, you do get some facial expressions here, but it's not a wide range either, so.
No. I feel like their faces are moving, but their bodies are standing too still, you know?
Yeah. Like I said, they probably could have just done some of that as just like an ambient thing, just like standing around in gameplay. And all of that was just you could transition to another cutscene.
源田先生、あれ、お一人ですか？
But so I was able to kind of like, you know, work on like terminology for giants, the shaping, stuff like that. Kind of talk about different factions.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I don't know how much you've read up, but you'll probably want it because there is a lot of references to Verna in the nature of the giants. They used to kind of fall under her domain because they shaped all the terrain. So.
Yes, I was definitely reading about that. If I find any evil giants, I must kill them.
Yes, Verna is very upset about it.
Very.
But that also means that like a lot of the giants that stayed on the side of the Scions are actually like very aligned with Verna or Aqua still.
Mm.
You know, I talk about how like some giants are so pious they have like spontaneously sprouted horns or antlers, kind of a thing. I didn't actually do a separate stat line for that. It's just like a fluff thing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about it, but I have a lot of stat lines. Okay, it's a lot of stats. There's kind of like a neutral aspect. Some giants believe in a concept called Valor Hall, and you can probably figure out what I'm going for there. There's like a hidden place where the first king of the giants, Athos, like dwells and will wake again when the Scions need to reformat creation. And you know, if you live a life full of bold deeds and you know die well, you will be recorded in Valor Hall, and maybe you know the king of the giants will remember you later. And then the bad giants, sometimes using the phrase Gigas, they have a creed of new creation. So they're actively allied with the forces of darkness. They're trying to like overtake creation and reshape things for reasons. You know, what actually happens if they get to rebuild all of creation is not necessarily explicitly stated.
I'm sorry, I have achievements to walk around with a dog and play with cats. This game has gained many, many points.
Yeah, I mean, you bought the dog DLC.
The Master System, mini games, Snake, Crane, Tiger. Sorry, I'm just going through all, like, since I have the ability, I'm just going through all the,
Yeah, checking all your Chivos.
Checking my Chivos and seeing what, lost items.
It's a good way to get a grasp of, like, the kind of stuff you...
I can travel by skateboard? What? Okay. Cool.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So yeah, it's, you know, you're just looking up stuff and getting a little grasp on the things.
Mm. Girlfriend battle assist. What? Sorry, just at the bottom there. All right. So I think so far I don't have any complaints about the mechanical nature. It's more about graphics and.
Yeah, it's more about how they've built the engines for certain cutscenes and dialogue and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with giants, I was able to lump in some other stuff. Ogrekin are related to giants Giants are kind of similar to true drakes in some way, which was my last previous big stat block collection, where like if you get too many giants all at once, they kind of like go down in power level. Especially if you don't like spread out, and that's how you get ogres. They're not like onions. They're like giants. You know, got a couple stat blocks there, and then I don't know. I had a lot of fun coming up with different like stories for a wide variety of giants. You know, if anybody's ever played like a D&D or Pathfinder, you know that there are like a bajillion giants. I did not necessarily do the like D&D style sorting algorithm of giants where like you start at hill giant and you go all the way to, you know, cloud giant or whatever, that kind of stuff.
Wow, that is
some giants, because of the terrain they handle, are larger.
Sorry, I'm looking at this. This looks very realistic.
Yeah. It's shot like, I mean, part of it I think is because they're blurring out their faces. Oh, but this phone re-rig. That definitely seems like we did some mocap for that.
Oh yeah.
Probably, you know, actually shot it with a cell phone or whatever, and mocapped it, because you can do a lot of stuff with phones and software these days. It's very interesting. I think that means that, like, especially with the way some of the other cutscenes are, that means there's a lot of deliberate choice in like where we wanted to put our time and money. It seems. It's a great freeze frame. Don't you love when we pause the YouTube video there?
Yeah, sorry, son. Sari-san's like one of the greatest characters. She's basically a kudere, but when she's like one of the most beautiful women in the area. She just hides it behind her, just hides it well.
You gotta look professional.
I hope the two of them are still dating.
I love like all the extra like cut-ins and stuff. Yeah, there you go, brother. Sit up. I don't believe this is a jury trial, but you know, you gotta look good for the judge. He's probably gonna be some old dude who's gonna be keen on respect. Maybe he has a beard or a funny hat. A hat beard. By the way, make sure to watch Great Ace Attorney.
Oh yeah, in the first game there was some Ace Attorney jokes. I didn't actually. Hang on one second here. Can I? Where is that stuff stored? I think it's in my media.
You're looking for like screenshots it takes off trophies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's in your media tab.
Where is that?
Or in is it in your library? It might be in your library, screenshot library. Like is that in games? The PS5 is a pretty good interface. It's not perfect though.
I'm trying to remember. Let's see here.
It's your game library.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be
somewhere.
there.
All right.
I'll figure this out in a second. Let me see here. App library.
I know you can find it if you go to like options, like storage. Because that's where you can like delete all. It'll show you
media
all the
gallery. This is where it is.
There you go. Yeah.
Let's see here. They do this interesting thing that if you just actually take a picture, they just automatically save it. So I have to. Let's see here.
Yep. Several games do that.
Oh, yeah, here it is. Literally,
Doing the objection point, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when you're a lawyer in Japan, you got to acknowledge Ace Attorney's been around for years, decades. Activate the switcher, return. But yeah, so like I said, with the stat line, like obviously there's a lot of lore. Like it's not just the stats. Like I think every text box of describing each giant NPC like type is about twice as long as some of the usual ones. But it's because we have a lot of work to do. So there's a lot there to mine for stuff, and I'm sure the players will find it interesting both as readers and also for like backstory stuff. Like mentioning that there used to be some fire giant strongholds and you know keeps in the Red Mountains that are now abandoned. So maybe archaeology happens there with some guys who are red. But I experimented a lot with a lot of these different stuff and just trying to make sure each one of them felt unique and did some interesting things. There's some more spellcasters in there, some other stuff.
今の話だと警察の首とセットみたいだけど。
There's another like big unique NPC nemesis, you know, as kind of like a campaign boss type thing. I tried like some different stuff with some loot. Like there is actually a D10 table for one of the entries.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's specifically just for Frost Giant. The idea is that like they have a wide variety of arts they work in, as opposed to like there's notes like you know, fire giants, you know, are carrying, you know, giant smith tools, and you know, stone giant will have like mason's tools, you know, stuff like that.
Okay.
Frost giants, especially given, you know, their leadership and culture and some stuff, you know, down the lore line, you know, kind of just pick up some different stuff. They're into like enchanting and subtler craftsmanship, so it's just like a random belt. Some of it is mechanical, like you can get actual, you know, honest to god items, you know, like a random number of health potions or some rune stones or like an icy box. There are some unique items like a giant's ice pick or, you know, a bearskin belt. And then, you know, there's just random stuff like 5 encumbrers worth of frozen and salted leviathan fillets. Yeah, you know, that frost giant's just carrying lunch.
Alright, is it just gonna let me run around now? Yep. Fuck you, main story, I'm out!
Bye! I'm gonna go do karaoke and crane games.
Okay, interesting. So they now just let me have just automatically let me just go investigation mode. Neat. And then I can switch to my camera. Okay. No, that's good. I just hope that doesn't make that annoying. Interesting. Here's Ikanari Steak. I met the fucking president in the last game. He's a swell dude. Ah, yes, the batting cage. The cigarette butt. I'm probably gonna have to do some fucking alchemy in this game. The first game had alchemy. First game had fucking alchemy too. You met this dude who made extracts that just made some weird ass fucking shit. Let's see here. Can I want to see how they do the batting gauge. Swing bat, move cursor.
Controls.
Before I go, you know, crash a Yakuza bar, gotta swing out some stress.
Get some batting practice.
Yes, I need it. Fuck.
Nope. Yep. Gotta practice. No, Axe, you didn't miss a lot of Shinsekai stuff. We've only been, you know, we're not even 3 hours of actual recording yet. It was a pretty good one. Home run. It's like some fucking Jutaro. Oh, that's a baseball shit. Fuck up one swing. I think I've got the hang of it.
Well, I just had to get my because in the first game you can actually get some things to improve how you do it. So I'm basically trying to switch back to how I was before I had the upgrades.
Yeah.
Oh,
seems pretty direct though.
All right, if I can get a home
just
run.
magically sense what square the ball's coming in.
All right, I think I just need to get. Ah, shit! I need a home run. Oh, there it is. Again, another big tint of this is just mini games galore.
Yep.
Oop, foul ball.
Classic.
All right.
That's why I made the joke about crane games and karaoke.
Oh, they gave me points. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, I'm probably gonna avoid doing main story. I'm just gonna go run around, see if I can beat some dudes and get some money. Hoomst! Oh, let's see those prizes. Oh shit! Awesome. Are we actually? So this is a complaint that I will say that I had about the first Judgment game, is that in Kiwami you could actually like equip weapons and armor and stuff to help you do stuff. So you could literally just, you know, pull out a baseball bat, or you'd wear some armor and stuff. They didn't have any of that kind of equipment stuff in Judgment. I felt, and I missed it.
Yeah.
But it looks like I don't know like how much. I don't know if they'll let you like just have like fucking weapons.
Just have a swordfish in your pocket.
Oh, shit! No, we have actual fucking gear. Okay, so we have an inner top and inner bottom, a skateboard, and 2 accessories. That's nice. It seems like they're not letting me equip baseball bats, but you know, even just like a little bit of gear here and there. That's nice. That's nice. I like that. Definitely, like I said, definitely leaning more into that RPG element.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Yagami-san, who is apparently the kind of guy who will play an okay round of batting cage and then drop the bat and be like, "Yeah!" point to the sky.
Like I wouldn't necessarily say he's a hard-boiled detective, but
It seems like most of the time he plays kind of the straight man role, and like you let the other characters be the kind of like sassy or goofy ones. But you know, you need to let loose every once in a while.
oh, they don't have the. Oh no, they have the beer garden. Oh, it's a music festival. Neat. This is Theater Square, where they set up a lot of events, and they have Club Sega. Let's go see if they have arcade games.
Indeedly.
Hey,
yeah, so there's a lot of stuff about giants to read about. Some of which Lucky will have to read.
I am like,
If he wants to get into the demean, Porter's gonna have to, you know, prove how cool he is to some hecatonkers.
Yeah. No, that's one of those things I was definitely. I'm gonna have to like definitely slap some evil giants and be like, in the name of Verna, and other such things.
Yeah. And then I'm sure if Dallas ever bothers to read lore, he'll be interested in the next section, Undead. Though I have to like, it was very intense on giants. I'm taking a little bit of a break today. I did write my first couple paragraphs because I needed, again, much like, not as long as giants, but I needed a couple extra paragraphs to kind of explain how being undead works. Fun fact, it's not new to being the Forces of Darkness and post-Schism. There were actually undead before that. It was just very rare because it only happens when you, like, leave an unconsecrated body, basically. Like, if you just leave somebody out in the woods to die, especially if they died suddenly, you know, whatever's left of their unspent life force might get a little nettled and decide to get up and walk around and you know, tell people about it. Or maybe a soul doesn't want to move on, so you get, like, ghosts and stuff. But since the fall and the various Forces of Darkness shenanigans, there's a lot more weird and different undead rolling around. I also use this as an opportunity to talk a little bit about funerary practices.
Oh, that'd be good.
But most cultures do cremation now, but there's still some options and stuff. Lucky doing some racing.
I forgot that, you know, fucking arcade games used to be like that, where they actually did have like a lot going on, but they were still pixelated as fuck.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting what you can do with a dedicated cabinet. There's a whole machine running this in there, so you could do different graphical stuff. But at the same time, it's still limited by like what the programmers and artists could produce. So you get like you said, like this is all 2D sprite graphics, but there's a lot of it because the machine inside is designed to run this one game.
Oh no, I'm not gonna make it. Oh, I made it.
As opposed to like now where you've got the weird shit like you can buy the like SNES Mini, which looks like an SNES but is just a computer which runs like 40 games.
It's something like that. I don't remember
I think isn't Sega actually coming out with like a mini Dreamcast or some other things as well?
I don't know. I haven't actually kept up on that.
I'm remember hearing about it a while ago. Somebody let me know if you got some stuff. Oh, that reminds me though. I completely forgot when we were talking about before spoke. Good. There was that was just a general vibe because somebody before he left Legendary talked about how it was pushed back to January and stuff. It seems like all kinds of games are getting the fuck out of the way of God of War these days.
Well, like I said, it's not just God of War, but also
that late year slot.
But what is it? Star Citizen? Star Citizen's also in that. Well, not Star Citizen. What's the fucking Bethesda space one now? Huh?
They pushed back Starfield.
Yeah.
Which is very funny because in a tweet by Xbox talking about what your most anticipated game of the year was, Phil Spencer did say God of War Ragnarok. So, like, that's the point. Another recent delay was that there was no confirmed time frame for it, but it was still supposed to be late this year, but Hogwarts Legacy has pushed back to early next year. I think February sometime, they said.
Mm-hmm.
Like, games are just getting the fuck out of the way of God of War. It's really interesting.
Oh, Motor Raid. This wasn't the first one. This one's... It's like, man... Let's see. Was it kick, punch, accelerate, twice to boost? Okay, direction. Sega!
Yeah, I literally just clicked on just double checking the news to see if I can find some other stories. And yeah, there's straight up an article here that's like, oh, God of War Ragnarok is making people move.
Let's play Robin.
Nobody can stop.
I think the other thing that's like interesting out there is that we talked about this. Ubisoft did announce their pirate game Skull and Bones to come out like a couple of days before then, but we also don't know how well that's gonna do, like if that game's gonna be good or not. So there could be some flexibility there. I do remember I've heard some stories and rumors that like apparently Microsoft and Xbox is claiming that PlayStation is paying other games with like rights to keep them off Game Pass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, supposedly. And I'm like, that doesn't seem that weird because, Xbox, you're paying shitloads of money to get people to do exclusives or be on Game Pass, so I can see it kind of cutting both ways.
Yeah.
Like, I think that Sony should use that money maybe a little more aggressively to put more games on PS Plus, especially now that I'm, subscribed to Extra. But at the same time, that doesn't sound like that weird of a game process. I did also see a headline, at least, that Microsoft is saying that Xbox Studios says that they won't make enough. It's not going to be profitable enough to keep Call of Duty just on Xbox, which I think I predicted when they bought Activision Blizzard.
Oh yeah.
Like, Call of Duty has always been like a really big open tentpole game, like a lot of cross-market appeal. So I can see why they wouldn't like. You're literally just losing free sales. Call of Duty buyers will not buy an Xbox just to play Call of Duty. They'll play some other first-person shooter,
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely some interesting conversations there. I also saw a headline that apparently Microsoft is,
Ooh, that's a big lad.
They're advising PlayStation to put more first-party games day and date on PlayStation Plus, and I like it. That works for Game Pass. I don't know if PlayStation's going to commit to that. I expect we will see some first-party titles on PS Plus eventually, but I don't know like I said, like what tier. Like I feel like they won't want to put God of War Ragnarok on PS Plus day one, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't either. Like even with like the profits that they're going to be getting from like their new tiers and whatnot, they still need to make sales numbers.
Right, and that's the thing, right? Like, obviously, I know Game Pass will talk about, like, oh, this game was downloaded so many times, right? And that's good to developers, and that can, like, justify maybe, like, bonuses or contract extras with your negotiation for Game Pass, but like for first party stuff, like Sony is gonna wanna, and Santa Monica Studios are gonna wanna like be like, no, God of War sold this many units, you've made this many sales, this many downloads, because they did it for the first one. I am certain that Ragnarok will A, come to PC, and B, will eventually be on PS Plus in some form, right?
Oh yeah,
Because they did that when they released the PS5. They put God of War on PlayStation Essentials, which is where I picked it up and played it. So like, they'll do that eventually, but they're gonna want those big hits first.
oh yeah.
So it'll be really interesting to see. Like, there's a lot of back and forth, and some interesting stuff is happening. I kind of wish it wasn't quite as divisive, but I do know that like there is some kind of convo back and forth between Sony and Xbox about like who goes where and what, and like the cross comp stuff, you know. God, I'm trying to remember what game was it. There was some talk about some game that was like they wanted to put the servers on. They wanted the servers to be multi-platform, but they weren't because Sony was holding out, and then it changed up so that Microsoft was holding out. I remember reading something that this is actually a tie into some other stuff you might want to chat about for our last couple of things here. As motorcycles, arcade games on motorcycles.
Hey, I got first.
But I swear I read something somewhere about Square Enix wanting to put. I'm gonna retweet that. That's hilarious. Thank you, Zin. I'll context Lucky so he can know to go retweet this. Zin at Zinfion, who loves to draw Medusa. He has also been on a similar trend of us with people shit talking Takuchi and Raita and just being like, nah, fam. He posted the final art of Ibuki and like, retweet this to Scara, right? I hate her. And I'm like,
hang on, I need to go to Twitter real quick.
Yeah. My Twitter currently being obliterated by loads and loads of pictures taken from Comic Cat 100.
Again.
100, yo.
Oh, again, I wish I could go. I really wish I could go.
But what I was saying before I tabbed over to that was, like I said, I swear I read somewhere that Square Enix wanted to put is trying to get Final Fantasy 14 on the Switch.
Really?
Yeah, but there might be some holdouts about server like cross compatibility.
Yeah, I can see that.
Is 14 on Xbox? I don't remember.
I don't know, actually. I don't think so.
Okay, not properly ported to Xbox. Okay. They may have been in talks for that, but Sony probably was like, nah, fam. I mean, it's kind of goofy, like, what counts, because I'm fairly certain you can use the, like, Xbox Live on Windows to, like, cross-play those two. Like, you can play your Xbox, technically, console games on PC, and you can play PC games on your console. Like, through streaming and stuff, you know, almost like Steam Deck style. But it's very funny how the hair's splitting. But since I mentioned 14, there was some big 14 news drops.
Yes.
And actually, honestly, that just goes back, again, to remind people who don't know, like, when Lucky talks about, like, how communicative the developers are of 14 and how, like, open they are with the community, he's not joking. Like, how long was that fucking... I subbed to the 14 YouTube channel, so I've got it somewhere. What the fuck was it? It's like, I think it's like 4 hours was the dev letter stream.
It might have been longer. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, unfortunately.
Yeah, let me track it down.
Ooh, this place looks lovely. Oh, this must be in Yokohama. That's why I don't know these areas. Okay.
Yeah, Axe did say earlier they switched up some of the modeling they did for it. Alright, there's the bajillion copies of the trailer. Right, yes. Letter Producer Live was 4 hours and 9 minutes.
Okay.
And also, I believe... God, what was the fucking number? I think it's 72. Isn't there, like, 72nd one of these done? So, like, yeah, there's a lot of this action, right? But yeah, they did a big stream and some new enough stuff. Oh, hey, Loth. Hi.
No, but
yeah,
well, this is a big one because we're gearing up to 6.2 Buried Memories, which, like, you guys don't know, after they release their big X pack, and Walker being this one, basically they do major updates every 3 months, and this usually goes on for about 2 years until they release the next one. And in these updates, they usually drop a bit more main story quests so they can lead up to the next X pack, and usually drop some quality of life, new events, and like, you know, things to do while we wait for the next X pack. They don't let you just sit on your ass for 2 years while they make the next one. They just, you know, they trickle stuff in.
Yeah, that's pretty typical for these MMOs. WoW does actually have a similar, because I've read a lot about WoW's history. They have a similar system where, like, they do the big X pack and then they roll out partial patches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of various content to keep the people coming back.
Yep.
But yeah, so there's, you know, new story stuff, but also they give you other shit to do.
Oh, they just leave the dart system the same? Sick.
Oh, like he's gonna slay at darts.
I am. Okay, maybe not.
Whipped your timing very slightly there.
Well, with the one before, if you were at least in the orange, you'd usually land on what you wanted, but maybe not so much here.
Well, you've got like 2 circles, so maybe the orange is only the inner circle, and then yellow is dead center.
Yeah, no, I think they made the darts just a little bit harder this time. I'm not complaining. I was slaying at fucking darts the previous game. So if they made
that's the kind of thing, right, where you know, you guys know, you know, the developers know what the players do, so they can be like, okay, darts was too easy. People were too good at darts. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna add a little more variance there.
Yeah, no, I think they just they loosen the targeting reticule, because as long as, like, if you're in the orange, there's a good chance you would hit like right on your mark.
Yeah. This now looks like there's multiple strike areas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's like there's a spooky trailer. There's lots of announcements of stuff.
Oh yeah, no.
People are excited about some new. I saw Loth tweeting and showing some images about some of the new raid gear.
Oh yeah, we got raid gear, mounts, story. We have the Island Sanctuary coming out, which I'm excited about, because apparently you get just a whole dang island just to hang out on. I'm not entirely sure what you get to do there. I've not been like super following it, but I do know that all your pets and minions get to hang out, and I have like almost like 10 pages worth in Final Fantasy 14. So I'm excited just to see them out and about doing everything. I'm like, yes, this pleases me.
I saw. Yeah, it's very dangerous for you, Lucky. I saw some other people talk about this, and apparently in the letter there is some footage. You can build not really a house, but like a little town hall, so you can like turn in the resources and stuff you gather to NPCs and stuff. And also you can losing the controller aim a little there.
Yeah, no, I got it. It worked in my favor.
You can do some farming. You can plant some seeds and water them. Yeah. And you can get like NPCs to take care of them, so you don't have to constantly be doing it. But like, there's some like farming stuff in there.
No,
chilling.
Yeah, no, I'm not like excited about it. People are saying like they've been very clear to say like this is not replacing housing and stuff, but instead of like running a house, it's kind of like maybe like running a farm, maybe.
Yeah, and if you can get a little space that you can customize, it definitely feels a little bit like, I know I have seen, obviously Lucky talked at length in previous What's Up about his immense struggle to buy a house.
Yep.
I'm gonna play some Space Harrier.
Yep.
God, the fucking parallax graphics.
Yeah.
It's such a throwback, but it's so cool.
I love that they put these things in here.
Well, and that just, so we talked before about like how like the like nostalgia mini things can like put so much effort in there. That just goes to show you, like, back in the day, they needed an entire cabinet to run this.
Mm-hmm.
But now, games are so big and storage media is so good that they can hide this whole experience in another game you downloaded.
Yep.
Like, it's just wild. I love technology. But yeah, so like I know that like housing is like a huge struggle. You know, people make jokes about housing savage, stuff like that. You know, I've seen a lot of stuff like that. the YouTuber that kind of got me into some of the 14 memes, Pint, one of his videos, it ends with after he talks about his initial experience and story stuff. He talks about the title of the video is "I Enslaved My Final Fantasy XIV Guild." It is about like him and his group, his free company's efforts to camp a house, and they talk about the whole system. It involves fucking spreadsheets and everything. I believe they exercise 2 round-the-clock clickers on the actual like housing plot, and then all the rest of the members of the guild just hung around to scare off the competition. Like that kind of bullshit, right? And obviously, it feels kind of like it might be a little bit of a sunk cost fallacy, but it feels kind of like now that they've done that for some players, you can't necessarily, at least on the original housing, you can't just like reverse it and make it accessible to everybody, right? Because like some people had to work their butts off and make a lot of cash to like get the housing, right?
Right.
Even with the lottery system and opening new districts, that's still that they don't want to necessarily invalidate the classical housing. This seems more like a way to go to another style of doing that, where like I'm gonna assume that the islands are instanced.
I believe so.
If they're gonna like have them coded to your player specific like mounts and like your customization for like where you put your farm plots and stuff. So obviously you'll probably be able to invite your friends to them so you guys can hang out at different islands together. Probably have the same baseline map. So that's like a very different feel than like player housing. Like obviously it's not part of the world in the same way that like no, when you go to a housing district in Final Fantasy XIV, you literally walk by other players' houses. And apparently some people complain about the neighborhoods, right? The property values, living with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want to be part of the district, but you don't want to be too close, you know? It's funny.
Like, here's
Actually,
Virtua
also, by
Fighter.
the
Are
way-
these, like, real games? I'm really curious.
I don't know. I mean, they look like games, but also there's so much effort put into fake game, like, in-game art assets, you know? Really fun.
Let's get pigs!
Once again, Lucky, I must confirm a 14 meme with you.
Yes.
Tell me if this is true or false. The goblet is for broke-ass bitches. All right, Lucky laugh. It's good. Good meme.
Sorry, just fucking... I'm gonna get me a pig! Oh, you're not gonna... This pig is not gonna be low. Like, I need to get under this fucking pig, y'all.
Yeah, crane game. I'm not joking about the crane game.
Yeah. Give me this pig!
Somehow better than real-life crane games.
Okay, Crane, if you don't actually go, like, down all the way, I literally can't get this pig. You motherfucker.
That's crane games. Literally cheating.
Okay, let's try this one. Let me see here. Maybe.
Can you hold the button down longer to make it, or is it just completely
Oh!
randomized?
Oh! Oh! No! No! Pig! Pig! Damn it!
Almost. Oh, we slipping. Nope.
Ah, God damn it. God damn it. Get out of here. Get out of here with that shit.
Even more emotionally devastating than actual capsule games. Actual gachapon crane games.
Wonderland Wars, Beauty and the Beast. I'm not gonna lie. That looks fucking sick.
Oh, all these fucking look great. Honestly, that looks, speaking of like arcade games and gacha, that looks kind of like that kind of style, right?
Yeah.
With the graphics and shit. Well, yeah, you gotta cheese the crane. They're modeled on real crane games, so you gotta cheese them a little bit.
Alright, I gotta go run around, punch people, and make money.
Classic.
Oh, interesting. They actually have the pedestrians on the mini-map now. Interesting. They're little in, like, nondescript gray dots, but you can see them. That's cool.
Yeah, it's good for like your self-awareness and stuff.
Grab that.
But yeah, so as I was saying, the making the island instanced and like definitely, it seems like through story progress, I think I heard one person describe it as you will access it through a quest where a person takes you to this island and just leaves you there. Like, you know, getting a little vacay away from all your terrifying, soul-crushing plot needs. You know, that seems like a good way to handle it, especially if it is, like, very much later in the game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's a neat way to do it, both as a progression reward, but to still, you know, give it accessible to everybody. By the way, once again, talking about lots of games to play, but I am still, you know, I don't know when exactly, probably later in this month or early next month, but I am still down to clown on the 14 streaming experiment. I found the free trial on PS5. When you just search in the PlayStation Store, it's not readily accessible. You probably have to filter by demos, but if you Google free trial PS5, I found that and was able to wishlist it. So I, too, can play award-winning Final Fantasy XIV with a free trial up to Heaven's Word. Level 60, whatever, however the fuck the memes goes. You know the memes.
The fuck?
God, the vibes in these games are just great. So I'm just watching Lucky, like, walk around and just, like, yeah. Walking around, picking up shit.
Mm-hmm.
I did see you guys wandering around and, you know, hanging out in the VC again.
Yeah.
Having your chats, doing your stuff.
Yeah, no, Axa rejoined up, and everyone got on to help him out a little bit. We also did, like, some of the summer events. The summer event going on right now.
If you, by the way, have been following the complete channel meta-narrative, I believe Axe talked about this on Tuesday when the Goop Troop had a little stream we all powwowed before. He talked about accidentally locking himself out of his 14 sub. He got that fixed.
Yay.
If you're following, like, the greater continuity. Yeah, and like I said, because I've been following 14 stuff a little bit more, I have unmuted the Crow's Nest, so I occasionally am seeing your meme flaw. And then also, Lucky just posted shoes, and I had to be like, Captain, what the fuck am I looking at?
They're very weird shoes.
Like, I was like, are they supposed to be like wooden ice skates? Because they're kind of angled like that, but I think ultimately they're in the thumbnail right now. By the way, I put them in this thumb as part of the gag. I think the idea is for them to be like heelless heel sandals.
Yeah, no, those aren't great, by the way. They're...
No, I suspect not. Your balance looks fucked, but you know. It's still just like, yeah, it's weird.
Alrighty. Man, I love that this place is still fucking here. I remember this place from the first Yakuza game. This used to be this really fancy soapland until fucking Cosmic Kirya and fucking Goro Majima had a fucking anime fight in it. It's just like, no, we're closed forever now. We cannot contain it.
Yeah, and it's still there. Oh, I mean, that's the beauty of, like, even if they're not following the same plot lines of setting everything in the same place, you build this sense of, like, community and, like, you can...
Oh, yeah, like, no, like, going to the Stardust Club, seeing this area, always going to Ebisu to sell your shit, to pawn your shit. Yeah. It's like, that's what I like about this game, because I can go... Like, even though, you know, I haven't played, like, only one Yakuza game, I've played it extensively, though, like, super extensively. I can just be dropped here into Kamurocho, and I know exactly where I'm going. You know, there's, like, new shops and stuff, but I remember Pink Street, I remember Tenkaichi Street, you know, all that stuff. Like, I don't feel, like, lost running around. I know where I'm going most of the time.
Well, and that would be how the characters would feel, too, because they, you know, live and work here. And I mean, and I don't know if people picked up on it later. We didn't really talk about it then, but I caught you saying, like, looking at the mini-map being like whatchamacallit, like, oh, this shop is gone, or this new shop is here kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, lots of little fun little details. It's great. It's good to get these kind of, like, urban environment build-ups, you know?
You know, and it makes sense, because if I remember correctly, I think it's been, like, 3 years since the last game. You know, things open, things close, you know, so... You know, while the general structure is the same, you know, things will change.
Yeah, you know, you cycle through storefronts, and it sounds about right. Because what was the date earlier than that cutscene? Sometime in 21, like December?
Yeah, it was like December something, 2021.
Yeah, and I remember because I was looking up some of the actor credits. The original game Judgment came out in 2018.
Yep.
So it has indeed been 3 years.
Here's La Marche, where you buy ye old fancy shit. Actually, I'm curious. I am the dragon!
I
Okay.
remember this motherfucker.
Riboproxine. Oh. Prices went up a little bit.
It legitimately looks like some of those are fucking materia.
Yeah, the proxine.
But no, I remember the shop from like I said, the decent number of hours I put in Kiwami. I also remember not being able to fucking buy anything here. But like, there's a lot of love put into these environments, and obviously some people will be like, "Oh, you're reusing assets." I mean, yes, but also no, because like Loki said, some of the storefronts are different. But I assume a lot of the extra like little graphics packages are different too. That's like the game posters we talked about and other stuff.
All right, let's see.
They
got Sega Teaki. They actually have a fucking picture of it. This must be from the Sega Cafe. Oh, wait.
Talk about fucking cross promotion.
No, this is stuff that the fucking actual staff made. Taiyaki baked by the staff with extra love, of course.
It's even better. Even better when it's not a shill. Oh, I made taiyaki. We took a picture of it. We put it in the video game. It's fucking adorable.
Oh. No, I'm just like double checking stuff.
Yeah,
Let's see here. So, well, yeah, because I'm trying to like I try to like gauge like their prices and stuff. Yep, that stuff.
You know, you want to figure out how many guys you're gonna have to beat up for money.
Get some health items. And let me see here. I prefer the gold, but do I have an? Whoops.
I'm just gonna skim it. I'm gonna skim an article really quick. I see a headline that says court documents confirm Xbox One sold less than half PS4 numbers, and I'm just like, why did that come out in court documents?
Is there some sort of legal proceeding going on?
High-profile case in Brazil. Oh, so the Brazilian antitrust authority is trying to fight them about the Activision Blizzard acquisition. That's really interesting. I don't
really
know win that one. Yeah.
Huh.
And then the court documents, so they've demanded to release stuff. Apparently, they've been hiding, not. They've been refusing to release console sales on the Xbox One, the Xbone, since 2015 because allegedly it is not their key metric of success. They like to focus on engagement, I guess. You know how much they get you to sell on that, but yeah. So apparently they've gone through all the court papers that were released just recently. This is dated August 9th this year. Sales and install base. So last generation, more than half half as many sales of Xbox One as PS4. That doesn't really shock me. The PS4 was a slam dinger of a console. Like that was an amazing generation. I feel kind of bad for Sony that like due to COVID bullshit and semiconductor shit, they have not been able to move as many PS5s as they want. And I think that still leaves it opportunities for if the supply chain ever unfucks itself for them to catch back up. But yeah, no, it's a really solid generation there. So that's interesting. Then that story though is just crazy. Fucking Brazil is suing Microsoft about buying Activision Blizzard.
Oh man, product placement. I could just buy a fucking can of Mountain Dew. These must
always hilarious.
Yeah, I bet some of this stuff is just real ass fucking brands. Listen, you gotta run around with a bunch of food in your pocket. It's important. Okay, but it doesn't look like I'm getting like random fights that I can beat up people for cash. So on with the story, I guess, since I can run. Yeah! I love anime girls. What is this? E-space. E-space. This is a... What is this?
What is it? Internet cafe?
No, I think it's
merch shop?
Yeah. Oh! I bet they're doing a fucking anime collab.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense. That happens.
Also, interesting, I'm noticing in these 3 years, there's been a lot more anime being put up on the... Oh, yeah, it's everywhere. It's got to be a collab.
Now I wonder, will it be a plot-related collab?
Maybe not.
Will you have to investigate somebody's siphoning funds from the anime studio? You have to martial arts fight them.
I might. But no, it's just like, I think this is another thing that speaks of like how they keep up. Like in the previous game, they had like little anime thing and drawing and stuff, but nothing so huge. But anime is becoming a big thing, really.
There's a lot of cross-marketing.
Yeah. Like,
A lot of product integration.
Alright, let's go do the fucking mission. I went to go play some arcade games. I went to go shopping. Let's go beat up some fucking Yakuza in a bar. Or thugs in a bar, I should say. Wrong way, me!
And, I mean, I think we can probably get close to wrapping up. We've been going for over 3 hours. I cleared up my notes a while ago. I don't know if there's anything else you particularly want to yell about, besides, obviously, you have jammed a lot of this series, because I think you were talking about receiving these games last What's Up, and now you have beaten one of them.
Yeah, no, I've been going pretty hard on this.
So, we can probably go for a wrap-up if you have anything else to say.
No, let's wrap up. I do need to get me some food or something.
Alrighty, let's do the all outro. We appreciate you being here for the 6-ish hours. We've seen the numbers go up and down.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be ready to edit this audio and install that game. Anyway, blah 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 blah. What was I saying? Outro, I guess. If there's nothing else that comes up. Appreciate you being here, by the way, chat. So, if you like this video, be sure to give it a like. If you have any comments, you can leave in the comment section down below. You can also join our Discord. Link is in the video description and on our channel page. We have many channels for many stuff. I mentioned this earlier, actually. The main thing I did was just the giant stuff, so I talked about that pretty thoroughly. We'll continue to work on more stuff, but I'm trying to balance out my work time with other things, because, like I said, got a lot of games I want to do. Games to play. Games to think. What is this fucking anonymous-ass motherfucker? Where did this guy find a Guy Fawkes mask? You'll have to find out later. Because I'm continuing the outro. Join Discord. If you're new here, sub to the channel. Get all the latest streams and videos and stuff. Like I said, planning on some extra streams. Keep an eye out for that. And if you want to make sure you catch all our streams, including Greatest Attorney on Monday, check it out. Make sure to ring that bell for notifications. You can also join our channel membership, get access to membership badges and emotes. Usually, if one of the boys is around, we'll see some lovely emotes now. And when Lucky's got his tablet, I have a few ideas. It reminds me to completely prevaricate an outro because I have no sense for structure or anything. Chaos reigns. This is why you were fighting your headphone thing yesterday. But somebody brought up, like, in addition to other stuff, because, for instance, I talked about how I would like a little wizard Tirabit emote with, like, a Black Mage-style hat. That would be very relevant for things. Yeah, I think that would be appropriate for our stuff. But somebody talked about a technical difficulty one, and I was like, what's that, just a little Tirabit with, like, a wrench? And somebody said, yeah, with overalls. And then we had an existential question. Which is, can Tirabits wear overalls? They don't have shoulders.
Where did this come from?
This was a pre-Let's Like FGO conversation while you were fixing your sound setup. With your
oh my god.
Yeah, somebody just said like a suggestion of that, and I was like, somebody said with a little overalls, and I was just like, hold on, can they wear overalls? Does that work?
So Wonderland's War, that sweet poster we saw in the arcade, is an actual Sega arcade MOBA. Wild.
Neat. Cool. That's some cross-promotion stuff. But yeah, so that left the patron chat with a deep existential question of can they wear overalls or not, because, you know, they don't have shoulder blades. That would require bones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so if you want to access those emotes, continue to join our memberships, and if we get more members, we can get more emotes, more slots, more stuff. Also, as I said at the start of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You get access to the audio of this episode for as little as $1 a month, or roughly $10 a year. At higher levels, you can access certain videos early, you can vote in topic polls, you can hang out in our patron chat and other random stuff. And generally, it's a cool time. But with that, that is all the old outro and stuff. My stomach's bothering me a little bit. You could take a break, drink some more water. But I think, as undoubtedly Lucky gears up to beat the shit out of this smug asshole.
I am.
It's probably going to be the end of this week's What's Up, everybody. So we'll be seeing you next week.
All right. Have a good evening, everyone. See you next time.
Good night.